So listen here. Y'all already know Roger Bonds. Hold on. Yeah, Roger Bonds. No, it's isn't it that not Roger Bonds, but what is this guy's name? Big Homie. Okay, so Big Homie, who is Diddy's his ex security guard, um he's in fear of his life, child. Let's take a listen.
Known as the Punisher. He was fascinating in that interview because it's certainly from his testimony, both in court and then to me. Let's take a look at a little clip of this. At the center of this, it seems to me, is going to be the issue of consent, as to whether she was consenting to all this as a willing participant in this. What is your view? I mean, do you believe this was all consensual, or do you think that, as the prosecution want the jury to believe, this was all coercion, control, and criminal?
Well, I mean, obviously, I'm only privy to the circumstances that I was a part of, and as similar to I testified to, I didn't get any cues, didn't have any thing that would lead me to believe in the moment that she was under any duress or any forced scenario. It was presented to me that this was something that she wanted to create for her husband. For the majority of the time I interacted with them, I believe they were a married couple. And I believe, based on me following them on Instagram and whatever interactions that I've seen, although minimally, it seemed like a normal situation. I didn't get any cues to it being a distressful environment.
What was interesting about that, in the cross-examination of Cassie Ventura, text messages came out that certainly suggested she was a willing participant. One message from 2012, she wrote to Combs, "Besides making love, talking to you is my favorite thing." 5 years later, she told him in a series of messages she missed him. She asked him to send a picture of his genitalia. She pledged to be, quotes, "your little freak." How significant do you think all that is going to be in terms of creating a picture to a jury, perhaps, that this was consensual? It may not be what people like. It might be, as you said, actually pretty disgusting in parts, but that's just a moral verdict. It's not a criminal one. Enough about 9 to 5. What about the most important bit, the 5 to 9? It should be the most comfortable part of your day, and today's sponsor can help. Cozy Earth's bamboo sheets are temperature regulating and designed to wick away both heat and moisture so you can sleep several degrees cooler. They're soft, breathable, and guaranteed to give you a more comfortable night's sleep. They also have high quality breathable clothes.
All right, y'all. So let's go ahead. Let me go ahead and move this up. I'm going to be like moving around with content, so y'all bear with me. Okay, so now we're gonna go right here. I want to hear Nancy Grace.
Grace's for the defense closing arguments.
And said I was trying to be nice because he was in the middle of giving his closing. But there are...
Oh, okay, hold on.
I just got to tell you, he's got a nerve coming into the courtroom and all namaste my rear end. Okay, joining us now outside the courthouse, Tisa Tells, star of Tisa Tells on YouTube. Tisa, what happened in court? Start at the beginning.
Today, Mark Agnifilio, it was like a roller coaster. He started it off strong. I was actually very impressed, but very quickly, he took me down the path of disgust. Mark Agnifilio started off making a beautiful argument, and then it turned into weird blaming things. That Cassie, she was no angel. He even accused Cassie of saying she was because she was dating her husband, or as Mark liked to put it, the oldest trick in the book. I think he lost some of the jury. It was very disgusting, very 1960s coded misogyny. I don't know what happened, but it was weird. The biggest shocker is when Mark Agafili was making his defense. Remember why he was doing very well. The judge let us out for break, and all of a sudden, Maureen Comey shot up, and I knew she meant business because she did the Comey lean. Every time you see her lean slightly to the left, you know this woman means business. She brought up 3 objections and said I was trying to be nice because he was in the middle of giving his closing. But there are 3 ways where he was grossly improper and across the line. 1, implying that the jury needs to judge why we brought charges, telling them what the law is, telling them that assault is only a misdemeanor. This is improper. And what's more, we are demanding a curative instruction right now. It was like a bomb went off. The jury was out the room, of course. She gave them the respect of that. All the parties were arguing back and forth as to whether there should be some type of curative instruction. In the end, Shapiro was literally going to war with the judge saying, well, you don't understand. They did this and they did that. And we didn't say anything. And the judge was like, okay, well, that's you. You should have. And they're like, you're bringing this up. And the judge said, I'm not bringing anything up. The prosecution objected, and I'm now addressing that objection. The final point of the motive is, the moral of the story is he lost complete control of the jury after that, because when we came back from break, the judge gave a curative instruction telling them that don't listen to Mark Agnifilio about what he told you about the government's motives. That's not your job. And moving forward, when it comes to anything in the law, you don't listen to the lawyers. You listen to me. Again, it had a very chilling effect on the jury. Some of the jury looked not puzzled, but you can tell after that when Mark came back to do his closing, he had lost a little bit of his mojo. And that's when he got into disgusting, Cassie wanted it, she wasn't a victim land.
Tisa Tells, explain to me the dynamic in the courtroom during the defense closing arguments.
This is a funny thing. In the beginning, he was funny. He was charming. He has that old, golly, hometown lawyer in a big city act down pack. But he went too far with the misogyny. When they were making the jokes in the beginning, they were giggling along. They were nodding along. One of them even met him with a smile because he was making eye contact. But again, when he started going down on misogyny lane and actually saying that, one of the biggest shocking things where I think he lost a lot of the jury is when he literally, against all odds, rewound the Intercontinental tape and then tried to convince us. He literally started off by saying, like, it's unclear what happened in the tape. Could have been Cassie's, could have been Sean's, maybe it was Sean. I don't know. We need to look into this. And then they walked us through the tape frame by frame and tried to show us how Cassie wasn't the victim. And they even tried to paint a picture that she was the aggressor and that no violence really happened. To quote what he said, that was just something they do and the way they were in the relationship. It was shocking to see. And at that point, even some jurors were sitting there. They were looking at him like he was crazy. One person had a look of disbelief. Everybody had stopped taking notes and they were just looking at him. And I think at that moment, he realized he went a step too far. He tried to reel it in, but again, he was off. He kind of lost some of the timing. So it was a lot.
Tisa Tells, we saw the female victims dragged through the mud in the defense closing statement, stating it's, quote, all about the money. But when Cassie Ventura took the stand, the money issue was long over. Her civil case was settled before she took the stand. So what was her motivation to testify? How was the jury reacting when Agnifilo referred to this as being all about the money?
Okay. Where he started off on his road to depravity is by saying, when he talked, first he started off talking about Diddy and how he's self-made and blah, 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 blah. And by the way, there's not that many black billionaires. To me, okay, Mark, we just let it slide, okay? The issue was when he literally started talking about Cassie's and saying, Cassie's a millionaire. Cassie's fine. Cassie's not a victim. Almost implying that because she had to fight him tooth and nail for that money, that we should let this all go away. He even went so far as to say, and Jane, I don't know where she is right now, and I'm sure she wants to be a good mother to her son, but we know that he's sitting there And she's sitting there, probably watching this from the house that Sean Combs is paying for.
All right, y'all. Are y'all here? Are y'all listening? All right, let's go.
Victim because she has $30 million. Cassie's not a victim. And then he started painting Cassie into this almost like weird, seductress Lolita. It was weird and it was disgusting when he was like, Cassie knew what she was doing. She lured Sean out to Miami and then made love to him. We are talking about a woman that was like at the very most, very early 20s and a man that was 20, 25 years her senior. Might have even been double her age. On top of that, he went into how Cassie was playing Kid Cudi, Anton. They kept trying to paint her as this Lolita vixen that had all the men's by the nose. And this is when they were even talking about the brutality that happened in the Intercontinental and the hotel room. Again, I think he went too far. I think he lost a lot of people, and it was really disgusting to see.
Teacher tells who was in the courtroom for closing arguments for the defense.
His whole family was there. Everybody was there. Everybody was eager. The girls yesterday, they seemed to be tearful. Today, they are trying to hold it together. He is in court with everybody there, and they seem to have the rally call with Mark Agnifilio. The only thing is with Mark Agnifilio, I don't think he made the ground ways he thought. It's like every time he got a win, he went too far and it would come back. But again, his family was there. They were looking hopeful.
Tisa tells what happens now.
You know, I usually have so many fun things to say about what's going on in the trial. What happens now is we really have to think, is this a fight for America's soul? At what point do we look at abuse? What do we think is trafficking? And at what point in 2025 can we not have a defense lawyer sit up there and basically say she wanted it? And who cares if she suffered? She got $30 million. The displays and the misogynist narratives that Mark Agnifilio was spouting around, because I get it. You will do anything. You will make a pact with the devil right now to get your client off. But I really think he upped the ante. And a lot of people are looking at the jury to actually see, where are your lines? What do you have to believe? What do you believe? And I think it's going to be very, very interesting to see how it plays out. That said, when you look at the prosecution rebuttal, they definitely have Diddy dead to rights, but it is going to be interesting on how much this whole Cassie wasn't a victim thing actually can play forward and get him out of the sex trafficking charges.
Please join us on our mission to find missing people, especially children, to solve unsolved homicides. If you're on the go, catch us on your favorite podcast app, where you can get all of our content, where we, in our own way, seek justice. Sydney Sumner, after all the namaste went down in the courtroom, what happened?
Well, Mark Agnifilo came up to the stand to start giving his closing arguments, and I'm curious to see how short they're going to be. Are they going to be just like the case in chief, only a few minutes, wrapping this up nice and quickly for the defense? But his very first words was, you've heard two different trials. You've heard the evidence trial, and you've heard the prosecutor's trial, the words coming out of their mouths. And those words are extremely exaggerated. This is just a swinger's lifestyle. That's what the evidence told you. But prosecutors are telling you this was a crime.
Okay, here we go. The minimization of what happened. That the women are hysterical. Why is it always women are hysterical and they're exaggerating? And the female prosecutor that gave the closing arguments, which were brilliant, by the way, Christy Slavic, exaggeration. You know, Eric Faddis, there are women on that jury, right? Eric Faddis, veteran trial lawyer, joining us out of Colorado. He is the founding partner of Varner Faddis, elite legal and former felony prosecutor. That would be the last thing that I wanted to do if I were, Lord help me, a defense attorney, is claim that all the women are hysterical and exaggerating. You know, there's some women sitting on that jury going, say what?
Yeah, Nancy, there are sensitive issues in this case, clearly. And as a defense attorney, you got to make sure you're not offending the sensibilities of the jurors. You can be passionate, you can be a zealous advocate, but you got to be careful about, playing into some trope that women who have been victimized and who are survivors were just, making it up or making a big deal out of nothing or something like that. And so I think he's got to really be careful because he runs the risk of rubbing them the wrong way. And then, that impression is left with them back in the deliberation room. Straight back out to Sydney Sumner, Crime Stories investigative reporter. I understand that Sean Combs had his son, Christian Combs, along with his god uncle, Kanye, very busy last night.
Yes, they have released an EP today, and one of the songs on that EP is called Diddy Free, and the lyrics say that we aren't going to sleep until we see Diddy free. And those lyrics actually mention you, Nancy. They don't understand, but they stand me. Tell them, give me grace, even Nancy. So this isn't the first song that he's released speaking about his dad's legal troubles. And honestly, I don't think they're doing any positive things for him. This Bible might come in handy. This rifle might come in handy. I don't think threatening gun violence is really doing much to persuade anyone that your dad is innocent of these crimes.
Okay, the jurors get to go home every night. They are not sequestered, and they can be exposed to this rap song created by, God help him, Christian Combs and Kanye. Why you would want your child around Kanye, I do not know, but that's a whole nother can of worms. Let's take a look at the lyrics. Ain't gonna sleep till we see Diddy free. Ain't gonna sleep till we see Diddy free. When it gets sus, they try to play the victim. Playing the victim, that's an attack on the victims. Outspoken, I ain't keeping in. Blah, 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 blah. Now, I noticed part of it refers to a Plan B, which is an abortion drug, which came up during this trial. It says they ain't got to lose. What are they talking about? The victims or the jurors? I ain't one of them. And then it goes on to talk about Astroglide? And it says, damn, why the am I in the tabloids? You know what? That's a really good question. Why Combs's children have been dragged into this. They are being used as a PR tool. And now, you want to tell me this happened without Sean Combs knowing that it would drop just before the defense closing arguments? Further looking at the lyrics that dropped last night, the Bible might come in handy. Like what? It's a prop. Then, of course, Christ gets dragged in. It's one night I want Jesus Christ to answer. Then they want to stop me, the kid. They want to stop the kid like a Plan B. Okay, we heard the testimony, and we know about whether the jury understands it fully that one woman was forced into an abortion. They don't understand me. Tell them, give me grace, even Nancy. And it refers to Bad Boy throughout. That would be Bad Boy Records. Okay, let's hear it.
They don't understand, but they stand me. Tell them, give me grace, even Nancy.
Okay, some people ask, are you angry? No, I'm not. I'm full of remorse for what Sean Combs is doing to his children. Eric Fatt is joining me, veteran trial lawyer. Have you ever prosecuted a case where the children, unless they were the victims, thought their parents did it? Because I don't think I've ever had a case where the children thought their dad was guilty, even adult children. They never believed the parent did it.
Nancy, I can't think of one. Really, the family often
families around the defendant in these cases, provide support. They want to believe their family member is not guilty of these heinous allegations, and that's understandable. But oftentimes, like you mentioned, the family can be brought in sort of as pawns, sometimes in the trial itself, sometimes outside the trial, especially in these highly publicized cases. And I think a lot of folks think that that may be what was going on with Diddy and his children.
Let's take one more listen to Diddy Free. This is released by possibly the only person in the world that thinks Sean Combs is innocent, and that would be his son, standing by him. God bless him. Christian King Combs, and of course, the illustrious Kanye.
They don't understand, but they stand me. Tell them, give me grace, even this.
Me and you could be mad, I could have a spat, we could have whatever. Then after that, you better get on your job. That's really, that's all it is. Ain't no threat, I'm just being clear.
Get on your job. Get on your job.
Get on your job. That says to me sex trafficking.
Get in there, in the free cough. It makes me so mad. I think I could chew a nail in half. Be videoed having sex with multiple male sex workers, Sean Combs. You can kiss my hard-working rear end. Throughout the defense closing arguments, Agnifilo has done exactly what we expected, dragging the victims through the mud. He spent the morning pacing back and forth in front of the jury rail. I always found that to be a crutch where you pause because you don't know what you're going to say next. But that said, he is dragging the state's star witness through the mud as we predicted. Sydney Summer joining us, Crime Stories investigative reporter. What happened?
Well, Agnifilo is making it seem that Kathy was not afraid of Sean Combs in the slightest. He says they own that there was domestic violence in that relationship, but this was not about control. Their relationship was about love. And interestingly, Agnifilo pointed to Kathy's relationship with Kid Cudi as this huge deception and huge betrayal, and even called her a gangster for buying a burner phone to communicate with Kid Cudi. So he's painting her to be this cheater, this liar, this betrayer. But I want to point out that it wasn't even Kathy's idea to get that burner phone. Capricorn Clark was so terrified of what Combs would do when he learned that Kathy was seeing another man. And this was on a break. They had taken a break. They were not dating at this point when she started to see Kid Cudi. So there really was no overlap here in Kathy's mind. But Capricorn Clark, her close friend, Combs staffer, warned her that she could not mention Kid Cudi on a cell phone that Combs paid for. So she went out and bought a burner phone to talk to him. So I think it's interesting that Agnifilo is trying to make that seem like, oh, Kathy wasn't scared of him. She got a burner phone. Like, she had all of this agency and this power, and she had no reason to be afraid of him when that wasn't even her idea in the first place.
Straight out to Dr. Bethany Marshall, renowned psychoanalyst joining out of the Beverly Hills jurisdiction. She's the author of Deal Breakers. You can see her now on Peacock, and you can find her at drbethanymarshall.com. Could I see the video, please, New York Control Room? Here's all the love Agnifilo is talking about. There's one person that at the get-go looked the other way. He tried to get Cassie Ventura to file a police report.
Agnifilo better mind his P's and Q's with the jurors, because jurors are real people just like you and I, and they can feel insulted by these kinds of arguments. By now, we all know with sex trafficking that the initial stage of the trafficker entrapping the victim is pretending that it's a love relationship, but it quickly deteriorates when they start to share sexual fantasies with the victim of being with other people. The victim initially believes that they're pleasing their boyfriend, then it escalates to violence, which is what we're talking about right now. Cassie had a burner phone because she was afraid for her life, and for good reason. Allegedly, P. Diddy went and threw a Molotov, or had one of his staff throw a Molotov cocktail into Kid Cudi's car. Of course she had a burner phone. She's not stupid. She wanted to protect and preserve her life.
As much as I would love to talk about the Molotov cocktail on Kid Cudi's car that obviously Sean Combs did with his designer scarf as a wick, I'm talking about the love right now. All the love that we're seeing. To Eric Faddis, let me talk to you about all the love that Agnifilo is describing to the jury as if what they should believe him instead of their lion eyes when they saw that beatdown at the Intercontinental. Here's the thing. Before there was so much closed circuit TV, security cams, doorbell cams, you name it, right? Very often the defense could get away with so much because it wasn't on video. And I would have to argue to juries, what do you want? A video? Because there's not a video. These things happen behind closed doors. You have to decide who you believe, him or her, right? And I would argue, think about it. Who's got skin in the game? Who's got something to lose? He is looking at life behind bars. He's got a dog in the fight. So think about that when you weigh credibility, who is telling the truth, who to believe. But now we have the video. So Agnifilo is actually arguing she loved him and he loved her. So what are they supposed to just erase that video out of their mind? Because we have the video.
Yeah, exactly, Nancy. I mean, here, the defense can't really, sort of fabricate something about a really rosy and nice relationship and rainbows and sunshine and everything else. You look at the video and clearly it's much more complicated than that. That being said, defense has no choice but to go after Cassie's credibility. There have been some inconsistent statements, and that is defense's duty.
Put him up. Did you ever see Love Story with Ryan O'Neal and Ally McGraw? Did you ever see it? It's a yes, no, simple yes, no, Faddis.
No.
Well, maybe you need to brush up on Love Story. You can even just listen to the song, okay? And that really is what Agnifilo's closing argument is. Okay, I need to see Lynn Shaw right now, okay? I need to see her. Lynn, I know you're sitting down, but you may need to lay down. Sydney Sumner, correct me if I'm wrong, because this morning, in a very bold strategy, let me just say euphemistically, Agnifilo calls the relationship between Combs and Ventura a great modern love story.
No.
I don't know if that's bold or just damn stupid. There's really no other way to put that. He also told the jurors that the couple's text messages, many of them, of course, were sexually graphic, were some of the, quote, most beautiful things I've ever read. Okay, can we start with a great modern love story? Lynn?
I'm almost speechless, but I'm going to try to just pull myself up and go through this. First of all, I did see Love Story. I actually saw it in a movie theater. I was a kid, but I saw it in the movie theater. Women love to get beaten, pulled by their neck, their hair, their hoodie. They love to get kicked when they're down. And you know what? This is the same old playbook. I am such a broken record here that we see every time I'm in court with victims. The justice system, they're always blaming them. That's what they do because they have nothing else. The strongest piece of evidence, in my opinion, is this video right here. And you know what? I woke up thinking about something today, Nancy, and I hope you just indulge me for a minute. Right now, everybody knows in public spaces and hotels we have cameras. So this guy isn't concerned at all, probably knowing there are cameras. You know what he's concerned with? It occurred to me he's concerned with holding his towel up. Have you noticed he has his hand on it? He tucks it in at one point. Not concerned with the beating, holding his towel up. And Nancy, I'm going somewhere I never thought I would go. He's afraid for his towel to fall off. And I think you might have that prop somewhere around you because he doesn't want people to see his body. He doesn't care he's beating a woman, and we're all seeing it. We have video evidence. He cares about keeping that. There you go. I thought I'd never go here, Nancy, but I have to go there because I woke up thinking about it. He's more concerned that we don't see that TR. I don't want to say the whole thing because this is a family program.
Tootsie
So
Roll.
that's what he.
Some people
You
have
can say
even
it
gone
for
so
him.
far to refer to it as a little raisin. But that said,
He doesn't
I
want
don't know
people to
anything
see it.
about that.
Well, he's holding that
Gee, I
towel up.
wonder
He's not
why.
concerned about beating.
But can I
He's not
get
concerned about
your
beating.
take on? Hey, wait for this. I'm just wondering if the women, especially on the jury, are like, "What is he saying?
Yes.
Has he lost his mind?" You know,
Yes.
That's a sign. When I have to say, "Has he lost his mind?" this many times in one trial, referring to the defense attorney. Another thing, Agnifilo argued, in addition to the horribly, hey, can we show the bruises on Cassie's side? This is the loving relationship we're talking about. Now, okay, to Dr. Bethany Marshall, Agnifilo calls the relationship between Combs and his victim, Cassie Ventura, a, quote, great modern love story. He also says that their texts referring to freak-offs and graphic sex were, quote, some of the most beautiful things I've ever read. Poor thing. He obviously did not take English literature in college. But also, you're sitting down, right, Bethany? Okay, because Agnifilo argues to the jury, wait for it, Combs and Ventura were, quote, their best selves when it came to sex. It was a relationship based on love and intensity. You mean the intensity of his right hook?
Best sex as a sex worker, her mouth sores. I don't think so. Remember Scott Peterson, the one in the Midwest, the police officer who wrote a Valentine's note to his wife saying, nothing says I love you like a Glock, and then she ended up dead? That's where violence and love get confused as one and the same. Violence and love are not the same thing at all. They're very different. They're different properties. They're different attachment styles. I see no evidence of love in this relationship. None at all. Why would Cassie love somebody who abuses her? In fact, I think it's more the Stockholm syndrome, these supposed love letters, are when the victim is just happy that the perpetrator hasn't killed them. They feel inordinately grateful to still be alive, and then they placate the abuser so that they will not be abused again. That's not a love letter, Nancy. That's a sex trafficked victim trying to keep herself safe.
Straight back to Crime Stories investigative reporter on the case from the beginning, Sydney Sumner joining us. Okay, so in closing arguments this morning, Agnifilo hit and he hit hard, basically conjuring up the love song of Love Story with Ryan O'Neal and Alan McGraw, right? Could you please refresh our recollections on what he actually fixed his mouth to say to the jury?
His words exactly were, a great modern love story describes the relationship between Sean Combs and Cassie Ventura. And he said that their text messages were some of the most beautiful things I've ever read.
Okay, Dr. Bethany Marshall. Dr. Bethany, where do I begin to tell the story of how great a love can be? The sweet love story that is older than the sea. The simple truth about the love she brings to me. Where do I start? See, that's the problem, right there. What Agnifilo is doing right there. He is transplanting love onto vicious beatings where the victims would get mouth sores, stomach ailments, STDs that were so strong the antibiotics wouldn't work on them anymore. The beatings, the draggings, the slices to the head. And he calls this the greatest love story he's ever seen. Is anybody buying that? That's why women continue to be beaten and killed.
He's saying it was a great love story. We can all see that there was no love there at all. But you know, Agnifilo is actually engaging in a logic flaw because let's say there was love, which there wasn't. That doesn't matter in terms of the charges. All that has to be proven is that once he used force, fraud, or coercion to get somebody to perform sex acts. So why does it matter if there was a great love story, which we know there wasn't? But most of all, this just serves as a huge disservice to women. And I think it's interesting that a man is making this argument. Doesn't he have daughters, sisters, a mother? Doesn't he know what sex abuse is? I know he's just trying to mount a defense. But I don't know how he could get up there and just lie.
Yeah,
It's
that was nasty.
so unfortunate. It's like he's manipulating the jury.
Another thing that we must keep in mind is the state has a right to a rebuttal argument. Explain very quickly, Eric Faddis.
Because the state has the burden, they get essentially two closing arguments, an initial one, and then the defense goes, and then the state goes again. And it really has to be responsive to the defense's argument and countering some of the points defense makes during their closing argument.
Guys, the world has known what was happening behind closed doors.
Remember, I told y'all that the state will go, then the defense will go, and then the state will go again. So they'll start it, they'll let defense talk, and then
Breaking news
and
tonight.
then
Do I need about celebs?
and then they go up after that.
We've seen all the pictures over and over. Hillary, let's see here, Trump, Obama, Ashton Kutcher. I mean, it just goes on and on and on about celebs. Oprah, for Pete's sake, at a party, at some event with Combs. Does that make them guilty? No. And I think a lot is out there about celebs because the media believes the general population wants to hear about celebrities. You know what I want to hear about, Lynn Shaw? I want to hear about the truth. Weigh in.
Well, the truth is puppy parties, dirty ditty. We heard these rumors for years. We had people come forth. We are in the middle in New York City. And I would say you must go to the authorities. You must tell law enforcement. We are going back to the 90s, Nancy, and nobody would do it. Everybody was afraid. I want to focus not on the celebrities and influencers. I want to focus on the minors and all of these victims. Minors. That is exploitation. Show
One
business.
as young, allegedly, Lynn Shaw. By the way, Lynn Shaw, Executive Director, Lynn's Warriors, committed to ending sexploitation and human trafficking. Alex West joining me, investigative reporter with The Mirror. Alex, I guess you, of everyone on the panel, has seen the video ad nauseum of Ashton Kutcher on some type of a swing, going over and over a pool at one of Combs's white parties where everybody has to dress in white or you can't get in. Have you seen that video of Kutcher?
Yes.
I don't care about that. I don't care about him unless he is a defendant or a victim or he's in a new movie. All I care about.
Right.
But as of right now, these endless parade of celebrity montages at Combs's parties, that means nothing. I want to get to the heart of what's going on with this federal case because the feds have been very clear. They're still investigating, Alex.
We can't fully pull apart the celebrity, right? So, for example, Justin Bieber, right? He was with Diddy. He was in Diddy's custody. We can't pretend that that's not true. We don't know what happened to Justin. We don't know if he was a victim. He hasn't said anything yet. But we can't forget that there are some celebrities who were under Diddy's care as minors who he did mentor. So I think we can't fully stop talking about the celebrity aspect of this either.
I agree, Alex West. But seeing Ashton Kutcher swing back and forth on a homemade swing over Diddy's pool means nothing to me. Actually, what does mean something to me is this. Listen.
The biggest secret in the entertainment industry that really wasn't a secret at all has finally been revealed to the world. The wall of silence has now been broken. and victims are coming forward. Our team has had at this point more than 3,285 individuals contact us with people claiming to have been victimized by Sean Combs.
Did I just hear that number correctly? I don't think I need a hearing aid, but I definitely heard the number. 3,285 people have come forward claiming that Sean Combs in some way molested or attacked them. 3,000 plus? Is that real? They've got to be vetted. How many of those are real, and how many of those are just jumping on the bandwagon? He's not offering not to have a freak off during her period. How do I know he didn't plan the freak off specifically because she was having a period? I don't know. After all I've heard, that's possible. Okay, back to you, Lauren. What else happened?
So I want to tell you also what seems to be relevant for the defense, or what they're trying to prove, is Sean Combs' alleged opioid addiction. They are asking Cassie, did you think or did you know he was addicted to opioids? And she said, yes, he told me. And then they go on to say, well, don't you think that, when he was coming down from opioids or when he was withdrawing, he was a bit more volatile? In my opinion, they are really pushing this, that, when he was withdrawing from drugs, that's when he was violent, and that's why he was violent.
Okay, What I guess they're forgetting with all of that legal power on the defense team is that drugs and alcohol, voluntary use of drugs or alcohol, are never a defense. Okay, back to what she is saying on the stand. Tell me how she's looked on the stand so far on cross-examination.
Well, like I said, she shared some laughs with Anna Estevea, and she does appear relaxed, and she's handling it so well. I mean, again, she's 8.5 months pregnant, and she's very calm. Her demeanor is poised, and Anna Estevea has even said to Cassie, "Look," because again, Nancy, we have heard and seen some very explicit text messages and emails from Diddy and Cassie to each other, and Estevea is saying, look, if you don't want to read these, you don't have to. And Nancy, they are very graphic. We are hearing a lot that maybe I did not need to hear. Additionally, Cassie is showing that she is being open and honest with her communication with Diddy, sending him paragraphs about how she feels about freak-offs. But in this particular paragraph or email, she's saying, look, I don't know if I want to do it because I feel like that's all I'm good for. So the defense is showing us that, hey, Cassie, you were open and honest with Diddy, but, you're saying that you couldn't be at a certain point. So it's, again, it's early, and I feel like the cross-examination is going to last about 2 days.
Now, I understand that Combs' lawyer is seemingly suggesting that the freak-offs that he Combs forced her to participate in were simply part of a swinger lifestyle. But Ventura is pretty strong on the stand, stating that a swinger lifestyle is very different than forcing her to be in freak-offs practically every week of their multi-year relationship.
Yes, and Cassie testified yesterday also that she didn't want to be a swinger because she didn't really want to see Combs with another woman. However, today we saw a message exchanged from Cassie to Diddy where she said that she wants to see him with another woman as part of this fantasy. And I'm paraphrasing, but I think a lot of us were like, oh, okay, that's not great. And we're seeing a lot of that, a lot of contradictions with the period, with the talk of another woman. And I believe that they are showing pictures of Cassie and Diddy getting off airplanes after freak-off weekends to negate the trafficking charges.
Okay, a close look at the law will negate that premise they're trying to advance. But I'm really curious about the freak-offs and about them pressing Cassie Ventura on the stand, on cross-examination, about the lawsuit, as if the lawsuit was all her fault, that there was no basis to the lawsuit. How did Cassie Ventura hold up when they were grilling her about the lawsuit, the $20 million lawsuit?
Like I said, She was great. She seemed unfazed, unaffected.
Breaking news tonight, Diddy raging over last week's Tootsie Roll reveal as a PR fail emerges. Sean Combs is
poised, and she admitted after Estevea had to rephrase the question a few times that, yeah, the lawsuit that she filed did not help his career.
And isn't it true, Lauren Collins, that in one email they presented to her on cross-examination, she was very, very young, and she was describing how grateful she was to Sean Combs helping her get a leg up in the music industry. And she started laughing. She goes, yeah, I was really young then.
Yes, absolutely. But she also pointed out that during the time that she met Sean Combs, she had her own money. She was successful in her own right with modeling, and she was dating a man named Ryan Leslie, who was a music producer, who helped her out a lot, and he was actually the one that introduced her to Diddy. Now, the defense, they made a point to say, well, Ms. Ventura, wasn't Ryan Leslie 10 years older than you? Because Cassie did say on the stand numerous times, Sean Combs is 17 years older than her. She, alluded to the fact that she was taken advantage of. So yeah, they had to point out, well, you've dated older men before.
In addition to Lauren Collins joining us at the courthouse and Sydney Sumner also covering the trial, straight out to Dr. Bethany Marshall joining us, renowned psychoanalyst out of LA, author of Deal Breakers. You can see her on Peacock now and find her at drbethanymarshall.com. Bethany Marshall, having worked with battered women for decades, including on the hotline at the Battered Women Center and representing them in court once the case turned into a felony, very often female victims are full of contradictions. For instance, they try to go along with what the abuser wants them to do. They play along. They don't tell their friends or their family they're getting beaten or abused. They act like they are amenable to much of the abuse, but there are reasons for that, and it's really hard to understand it. Explain.
Well, what I hear in the testimony this morning is that there's a young girl who's very, very much in love with the perpetrator, and she believes this is a real love relationship. So she's trying to hang on to the love. She doesn't realize she's being sex trafficked, and that at first she doesn't. So all of his malevolence, his antagonism, his abuse really makes her double down and want his love even more. And research shows that the more tenuous an attachment is, the more the woman will try to hold on to the love object. So I hear her just placating him and fending off abuse and trying to make sure that she's in his good graces because she's harboring the illusion that she might be important to him someday.
Joining me in addition to Dr. Bethany Marshall, special guest Rob Shooter, host of Naughty But Nice podcast, former publicist to Sean Combs, and author of The 4-Word Answer. You know him very well and saw many of his mood swings, and that's certainly euphemistic, putting perfume on the pig there. Did you ever see the bad side of Diddy?
I saw the bad side of Diddy. I saw a grumpy and angry, aggressive side of Diddy. I didn't see a side of Diddy that I'm seeing right now, though, in this trial. It is horrifying, the details, the texts, the intimate conversations. But I did see, let me say, Nancy, I saw a really good side of Diddy, and that's what makes this so complicated for everybody involved. He's arguably one of the most charming people I have ever met. He can turn it on, he can play the game, and that's why people like Cassie was under his spell for so long.
You know what, Rob Shooter, you know what you just reminded me of? When I was working the hotline on the Battered Women Center, we had a frequent caller, and I'm not going to say what jurisdiction from where she was calling, but guess who her husband was? The mayor. The mayor. Gregarious, charming. Many people thought he was good looking. I didn't. But we heard it over and over and over, right? So just because you see a charming side and the world sees a charming side does not mean that he's actually charming. Help me verbalize this, Dr. Bethany Marshall.
Okay, so if you look at the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders under sociopathy.
Okay, please don't say things like that. The diagnostic statistic, what? Break it down, woman.
Okay, the criteria for sociopathy, one of the criteria is that the individual has a thin veneer of affability and sociability that hides a cold, calculated interior. So they are very charming as long as they're getting their way, and the minute somebody crosses them or fails to gratify them, they become vicious.
When, if ever, was the last time you checked your home's title? Well, if you're like our triple Y, she would be drugged in order to perform the freak-offs.
We are learning about what a vile human Diddy is, as if we didn't already know. She did break down on the stand a few times. It is heartbreaking and just painful to listen to.
Vile, yes, but he's not here trying to be crowned Miss Congeniality, okay? This is a felony multi-count indictment by the feds. And I'm wondering, straight out to a veteran trial lawyer, Greg Morse, joining me out of Palm Beach, criminal defense attorney of Morse Legal and author of The Untested on Amazon. Morse, I'm thinking about the actual charges here. And he's not charged with domestic abuse. And I'm just wondering if part of that is by plan. You just heard Rob Sheeter, right? An everyman that actually knows Sean Combs. If the jury is left thinking, wow, did she stay in that willingly? Was that her decision to endure all that? Even though we see with our own eyes her being beaten and dragged back to a freak-off she's trying to get away from, those issues could linger. But what they're going for, the gold, right, is the sex trafficking and the RICO charges, because those charges are the meat of this indictment.
My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. Disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now. I went and I sought out professional help. Got to go into therapy. Going to rehab. Had to ask God for his mercy and grace. I'm so sorry. But I'm committed to be a better man each and every day. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry.
I really don't even know what to say to that. That's from Diddy's official Instagram. Except technical legal term, BS. BS. Therapy, my rear end. Rehab, really? And then asking to forgive him? Whoa. Tisa tells, isn't it true, according to the witness who is under oath and would be committing perjury if she's lying, that after his apology video, he then goes on to beat Jane so badly that in one case he broke down the door, and she has video of that, and the jury saw it. Now this is when he's trying to be a better man. Again, objection. My rear end. That's a lie. Be a better man. He beat her to hell and back. Is that when he's a better man? Tore down the door? Again, objection, my rear end.
What happened in court when Jane Doe testified? We all knew the violence was coming, but nobody knew it was going to be a scene out of The Shining. To hear that little bunny rabbit talk about, yes, she threw a glass, yes, she threw a candle, and then she went on a chase through her house. She ran to the bedroom door, realizing quickly she made a mistake. She locked the door. He kicked in the door. Again, these are expensive, heavy doors. She even said it was so much to fix, she couldn't afford it, which, by the way, he gave her the money to fix these doors in cash in an unmarked brown paper bag, which seems to be the Diddy special. Let's see what the IRS has to say about this, you know? But he kicked in one door, right? It was She ran to the bathroom. He kicked in the door to the bathroom. She ran to the closet, hiding. And Kit was trying to kick in the door to the closet, kick the handle, kick the door. She did what she could. She feverishly changed into a dress she could run in. He kicked that in. She ran out the house barefoot, 6 blocks barefoot in a dark Southern California evening. You know how dark it gets in. And she hid for about 2 hours, hoping that he would calm down and go away. At the end of 2 hours, she came back, still scared out of her mind, and came back. And that demon was still waiting for her. And the violence she actually said he went through, it broke our hearts, but it actually shocked. And mind you, while we're listening to the violence that was to come, the apology video is still fresh in our minds. Cassie is still fresh in our minds. When I say he painted his own self out to be a liar, it was shocking and groundbreaking just how damaging her testimony was to him.
Please, about 3 male sex workers entertaining him, their father, Sean Combs.
Listen, the children are back. I will say Justin Combs has been MIA. However, we did see Christian Combs. We did see Quincy Combs. And we saw Sean Diddy Combs' mother in court, listening to the tawdry details, looking stone-faced. Again, I've said it all this time. We don't know if Diddy has PR on the ground. If he does, they are doing a horrible job because the optics, it is never played over as well. Again, what are your sons doing? They're looking around. They're passing notes back to each other. They're writing things down. Now, to be fair, there's no talking in the courtroom, but you gotta wonder what are on these notes they're passing back and forth when they're hearing about daddy's little secret, okay? It has been very tense. They look around, but they are sitting there stoically, stone-faced. But it makes me wonder, okay, as nice as those kids seem to be, if daddy goes bye-bye, it looks like federal forfeiture also might be taking their trust funds. So you gotta ask, are you supporting your father for your bank account, or truly because this is a unanimous showing of love and support?
Tisa, think back. Were Combs' children in the courtroom when we heard testimony about the male sex worker showing up and Sean Combs comes striding in, butt naked from the neck down, wearing a burqa from the neck up? Did they hear that too?
Oddly enough, every single time the Combs children heard devastating, disgusting, perverse testimony about their father, okay, the next day they were MIA. I don't know if it's because they needed to go back to their happy place and wash that visual out about the man that they love, respect that's supposed to guide them, or maybe they look at the social media just like we do and see that the public thinks it's actually weird that a family we once thought were the most loving, close family literally will sit there and look the other way when they hear about horrible abuse and depravity with women that they largely knew for. Let's think about Cassie. She was there with Diddy for 10 years. Let's look at Jane Doe. She was there for Diddy for 4 years. These are women that they should know and have some type of connection with. Again, very, very odd.
So Greg Morse joining me, veteran trial lawyer, criminal defense attorney, joining us out of the Palm Beach jurisdiction, author of Untested on Amazon at morselegal.com. So you're still saying it's just a tiff between boyfriend and girlfriend?
Well, it's Jane's testimony. If I didn't know who called her, I would think the defense called her. Her testimony wasn't supportive of sex trafficking. It was supportive of battery, maybe aggravated battery.
What do you think sex trafficking is?
Well, I know it's not people that the day before Sean Combs is arrested, they go and have a hotel night with them. They want to rub their feet in afterwards. These are women that made bad choices with the sex stuff, but none of their testimony says that the violence was to force them into it. She only got angry when she thought Sean Combs was actually sleeping with another person. She still had her rent paid. That was her main concern when the employment separated. She testified to that. So while Sean Combs is a horrible, weak human being and disgusting, the prosecution charged this as sex trafficking, and the defense has to be very happy with what could have been much worse testimony, that Jane gave them the things they said in opening, that this was an angry person, This was someone, maybe you wouldn't do these type of sex acts and these type of partying, but these women intentionally did it. They only got angry after the fact. And that's what we're seeing here. And as far as the sex trafficking case, unfortunately, these aren't victims of sex trafficking. Real victims of sex trafficking don't rub their captors' feet unless they're forced to. They don't get their rent paid when they don't live with the person. That's just not how it goes. So he's a horrible human, but the defense got some good stuff to work with in Jane's testimony.
But guess what? I don't care what the bookies say. It's all down to 12 jurors. Good evening. I'm Nancy Grace.
The attempted charges that have been dropped from the jury verdict, they have him in the best of spirits. This is a man that thinks he's going to walk away. This is a man that thinks his $20 million law team did their job. This is a man that thinks he has avoided justice.
Tisa Tells, tell me what else happened in the courtroom today.
What happened in court today literally shocked everyone. The prosecution came in strong. They made a clear, concise case. Diddy, who seemed to be walking on air, walking in, you saw his body language slump. They made such an excellent case to actually map out and hold our hands like we were 3-year-olds that needed help across the street. What the Combs enterprise was, how he commanded and controlled everything and everybody, and how they were nothing but an apparatus made to fulfill every sexual deviant desire he had. It really came together today in court.
At the beginning, they referred to Sean Combs, well, it's Slavic. Slavic refers to Sean Combs as the head of a criminal enterprise and someone who, quote, doesn't take no for an answer. Describe what she was telling the jury and how the jury responded. That's what Slavic said straight out of the gate.
She said he doesn't take no for an answer, and he wants what he wants. When she said that, she went into a list of all the predicate crimes. She said kidnapping, arson, forced labor with sexual assault, bribery, sex trafficking, that was forced and manipulated these women. And when that happened, she went in like a battering ram, and the jury was up. The jury was paying attention. They had their notepads out. They were leaned in. They were so locked in. The prosecution woke the jury up, and they couldn't get enough.
Tisa Tells, Slavic did something I think was brilliant. She almost immediately took the jury to two of the most violent attacks on women in order to force them to perform sexually. Of course, one has to be Cassie Ventura's attack at the Intercontinental Hotel. That's the single strongest one because there's video evidence. You don't have to just take her word for it. You can see it on the closed circuit TV there at the Intercontinental. But she also took the jury to the moment that Jane, not her real name, was brutally attacked and covered in welts all over her body, a beating by Sean Combs, after which he told her to get back in the ring and perform oral sex on a male escort despite her protests. What did she say exactly, and how did the jury respond? What were they doing?
She showed a screenshot of the moment we saw Cassie be brutally beat. And she said, I want to take you to 2 moments, 8 years apart, but with the same pattern done by the same man. The jury was leaned in. They described how Cassie was brutally beaten and stomped. She used the word stomped. And then they tied it in with Jane. Now, of course, they didn't let us see the pictures of Jane, but they put those beaten pictures of Jane on their screens, and they showed us a screenshot of Jane's testimony where they had her saying, I was beaten, I was dragged, I was kicked. It was an incredibly powerful moment.
Tisa Tells, how is Sean Combs reacting to this? What does he say as the prosecutor is regurgitating all of these horrific facts about him, and he's sitting right there?
I honestly think that The jury's reaction showed us the clearest of how well the prosecution was going. When she first started talking, he almost had a smug look on his face. There was still a faint smile. He was looking over in the prosecutor's direction, in the jury's direction, looking like he did not care. However, once they put a screenshot of Cassie's that beating on, and she went through boom, 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 rapid fire of everything he's being charged with, leaving no doubt, he all of a sudden just looked straight. He looked down. Then, I believe he got nudged. He looked straight again. And after that, he rarely looked at the jury the whole time. But what do you do when somebody is literally outlining how you are the devil incarnate?
You know, another thing that Christy Slavic did that I thought was also brilliant, I hate when lawyers simply vomit up the letter of the law and use Latin phrases that nobody knows what they're talking about unless you went to Harvard Law School, for Pete's sake. She really broke down what RICO means, a conspiracy. And I'm going to quote what she said. The concept is simple. When someone commits a crime as part of a group, the law calls it an enterprise. And that makes them, Sean Combs, more powerful and dangerous. You know, over and over, Tisa tells, we heard the same thread going through all of the victims' testimony. When Cassie Ventura was being beaten, she looked up at all of Combs' minions and said, "Can't you see what's happening?" And they tacitly, non-verbally, condoned what Combs was doing. That's the enterprise, those people that enabled Combs. Tell me how the jury responded. What did she say, and how did they react?
That was an incredibly powerful moment, okay? Slavic said he's already a rich and powerful man, and the enterprise made him more powerful and more dangerous. When they heard that, you saw a few jurors uncross their legs and lean forward. They were dialed in. Again, it's almost like the prosecution had taken their kid gloves off and they were leaving the jurors with no doubt. You don't need to connect the dots. We are going to draw the dots, connect them for you, and then walk you over to see where everything is. Again, a lot of shifting, a lot of rubbing the faces, a lot of leaning in, taking furious notes, looking closely at what was being shown on their monitors. They had the jury with their closings.
Another important chord that Slavic struck during her closing argument, which commenced early this morning, is that Sean Combs has been clothed in respectability, in celebrity, in billions of dollars, and everything that can buy, the private jet, the mansions all over the world, the designer clothes, the fancy restaurants, people at his beck and call. But she pointed out that for all the fame, wealth, power, and privilege, he is not above the law. And he's not. Remember that quote Tisa tells where one minion says to the other, pointing up to a picture of Combs, "This is his kingdom, and we're just living in it." Explain to me how the jury responded to her argument.
His enterprise, and the way she said the word enterprise, it was dripping with disdain. Their only goal was promoting and protecting and fulfilling every sexual desire that he had, okay? They enabled him to commit crimes. When she said that, the jury furiously taking notes. They even looked over at Sean Combs' side, not directly at him, but at the side where all his loyal supporters and family were sitting, and protecting him from law enforcement. When they said that, a few jurors' brows actually furrowed. It's almost like they were cutting through all of the BS from the last 4 weeks, cross-examinations, and cutting through to what the heart of this case was. And it became clear to everyone, I think even Sean Diddy Combs, that he is not going to beat this.
Tisa tells, what exactly did Slavic say about Sean Combs' wealth, fame, and privilege?
what she talked about was in a failed swoop, she did an amazing job of explaining away the reason why so many of these assistants that got immunity were sitting there saying, I think Sean Combs is a great man. He taught me so much, because she called them minions, foot soldiers, young, naive kids that were willing to do anything to be part of the organization. But she pointed out, Brendan Paul got paid $100K to do these illegal things for him. And Christine Cornum, KK, she got paid 6 times as much. I said, wow, KK got paid over $500,000. But also in that moment, they firmly put the onus on Diddy, KK, and his security staff. And they actually said that even though the names may have changed, the core group stayed the same, and they were the enterprise. And everybody else, no matter what they said, whether they knew willingly or not, were nothing but minions and foot soldiers that carried out all of his desires.
Standing by outside the Monaghan Federal Courthouse, Tisa tells, closing arguments for the state commenced this morning, and the fallout has been spectacular. Tisa tells, I found it very interesting, and this is important, that Slavic kept referring to Sean Combs' employees, as I say, his minions, because not all of them were his employees. Some were just starstruck and willing to do whatever he wanted. But she described them as foot soldiers. And you know, you got to be a foot soldier to do what they did. Some of them going into hotel rooms after freak-offs and cleaning up the bodily fluids. You know, that's a nice way of saying sweat, blood, dope, food, alcohol. I mean, it was rank. The hotels, as we've talked about many times, would charge up to $47,000 to clean a room after a freak-off. That would be a minion that would do that, right? And she talked about that in closing arguments, didn't she, Tisa?
Yeah, now that was a brilliant visual display. She referred to the security as lieutenants. She named them all. Fahim, D-Rock, Uncle Paulie, Rubes, said that they were armed and ready, okay? They said, remember David James? Remember how he said he was taken at gunpoint down to go confront Suge Knight with guns flying down the hill? It was an amazing image to just say that, no, this was a real criminal organization. But it didn't stop there. They then showed the pictures of the guns and the magazines, saying there were 2 AR-15s with serial numbers filed off. There were rifles with serial numbers filed off. And then they said, listen, this was an enterprise, and KK and the security gave the orders. And then they put up this visual of 11 of all his security people, 11 men standing there looking a little bit unseemly. She said, looking unseemly and saying they called the shots. And then they went back to his workers. They said maybe he didn't know. They were young. Maybe the workers didn't know, the flunkies, the minions. Maybe they were young and naive, but they followed orders, and they were nothing but foot soldiers that followed KK and security. So again, they put everything in focus, and a lot of people whispering, if Diddy is convicted, I don't know, if I was KK and anybody that was part of his lieutenant security team, I would be very, very worried right now, because the government has called you out. Children, how often?
It's my understanding that there is a resurrection victory tour, a world tour being planned for Sean Combs. What?
Exactly. If you were dumb enough to bet against the house at any time, you get what you get. Listen, the Southern District of New York did not come to play. I've been in the courtroom. They've done amazing. But these idiots that want to buy a ticket to a resurrection reunion tour, save it. Save it so you can show your grandchildren how off you were and against history. Again, there's a resurrection tour. There's a homecoming barbecue. There's so much planned. But again, these might just be the delusions of a madman who really thought he got away with everything.
Joining me, Joshua Ritter, criminal defense attorney, former prosecutor, star of Courtroom Confidential on YouTube. Joshua Ritter, I never count my chickens before they hatch. I go into every closing argument as if I'm going to lose, and I argue like HELL. That's pretty bold to be going in to closing statements as if you're going to win.
Listen, you got to have confidence, right? If you don't have confidence, what else are you left with? I think you have to at least applaud that. There's, whether or not the jury agrees with all of that is to be seen, I suppose. But you're certainly not going to limp into these closing arguments feeling like the case is already settled.
Okay, in addition to a so-called Victory Resurrection tour, to Tisa Tells joining us outside the courthouse. Everybody, those of you just joining us, closing arguments going down throughout the day today in the Sean Combs sex trafficking trial. I understand there's a big July the 4th party planned, and I'm not talking about behind the walls of MDC.
Diddy's team, again, I don't know if they have smuggled that man some Tucci into jail, but Diddy's team has been convinced that he is coming home. They have convinced him that he is coming home and that they have mounted such a strong case and poke holes in the prosecution's case so much that it's not going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of deliberation. That by July 4th, this man will be home to literally kiss babies and shake hands to his loyal followers that prayed for him and brought him home. Again, it defies logic that even if you sat through these summary charts and they were long, arduous days, that any jury could get through this mountain of evidence in time, whether they decide not guilty or guilty, to have him home safely. But again, time will tell. But Diddy listen, there's a lot of probably dead pigeons in Central Park, a lot of alleged sacrifices going on. We will see, but right now, this is a man that swears he is coming home.
Let's talk about closing arguments as they are going down in the Monahan Federal Courthouse throughout today. Tisa Tells, who is in charge of closing arguments for the defense?
Agnifilio is in charge of closing for the defense. He has perfected oh shucks, Your Honor, this is my first day in federal court. However, it might be effective. The male jurors around Mark's age seem to be very receptive to him. And even when he's made his arguments in court, they always respond very well. I think it was very strategic. Looking at the way the jury sees the reflection in Mark to a certain point, it's going to be interesting to see how much actually carries over. But for right now, Mark seems to be their secret weapon.
Okay, to Josh Ritter joining us, criminal defense attorney. It's not like you can pass it off like in a football game. You can just throw it to your favorite player in the middle of a run. It doesn't work like that. One attorney is in charge of closing statements. You can't pass it off like one argues for an hour and then the next argues for another hour. That's not how it works. Only one lawyer from the defense team can be chosen to give closing statements. Explain.
No, you're absolutely right. And it's not a surprise that it's Agnifilo. He's the more experienced, he's the more seasoned attorney. Listen, Diddy has paid a lot of money for this defense. He's not going to let the most crucial moment in it fall into the hands of less experienced attorneys. He's paid big money. He expects that big name. He expects the partner, the headline, the person whose name appears at the top of the letterhead to be the person giving the closing arguments. And I think Agnifilo wouldn't have it any other way either. Here's the moment to shine. This is bringing it home. If you're the Diddy team, you feel like you're now just punching it through the 1 yard line. That's going to be Agnifilo. So you're absolutely right. One attorney, one chance, and I'm not surprised that it was him.
You know, I'm very, very surprised that Agnifilo chose himself. He's the lead defense attorney. He's the one to make this decision. Chose himself after his very disturbing performance with our friend Harvey Levin regarding, what else? The baby oil. Listen.
They called them freak-offs. But, back when I was a kid in the late 70s, they were called threesomes.
If these are genuinely threesomes, how do you explain 1,000 bottles of baby oil?
I don't know where the number 1,000 came.
The U.S. attorney said it.
I can't imagine it's thousands. I mean, you know, and I'm not really sure what the baby oil has to do with anything.
They're essentially saying it's a lubricant for an orgy.
I guess. I don't know what you need 1,000. One bottle of baby oil goes a long way. I don't know what you need 1,000 for. I mean, he has a big house. He buys in bulk. You know, I think they have Costco's in every place where he has a home. I mean, have you sat in a parking lot of a Costco and see what people walk out of there with?
Not 1,000 bottles of baby oil.
I don't think it was 1,000. I think it was. Let's just say it's a lot. Okay.
Has he lost his mind? That's from our friends over at TMZ. Back to Tease and Tell, standing out in front of the courthouse. Who ever knew that baby oil would be the centerpiece of both the defense and the state's case? But that's Agnifilo. He couldn't even hold up to softball questions from Harvey Levin on TMZ. So I'm very curious why he didn't have Tenny Garagos, or Brian Steele do closings.
It was such an interesting choice, but I gotta be honest with you, I am salivating at seeing Mark Agnifilo do his baby oil defense. Everybody remembers that TMZ interview. He's sitting there across from Harvey. Harvey, I don't know why baby oil was there. His voice cracking, trying to act like it's the most normal thing in the world to have over $2,000 in baby oil, assuming it's $1.99 a bottle, in your home, and act like these are the normal, perfectly rational and perfectly legal actions of an innocent man. Again, it's an interesting choice, it's an odd choice, but as somebody that is waiting for Diddy to get justice, I welcome this. Bravo, Mark. Bravo. I hope he does another TMZ level performance.
Please join us on our mission.
It ain't never gonna work like that over here. You know what I'm saying? I was trying not to leave this message, but you have left me no choice. Cause you and I can have a spat, we can have whatever. Then after that, you better get on your job. Oh.
Join us on our mission to find missing people, especially children, to solve unsolved homicides. If you're on the go, catch us on your favorite.
Hey, I really don't know what's going on with you, but I just want to give you a heads up that I'm about to really disappear on you. You feel me? I'm not going to be playing these games with you at all, at all. So I don't know if you think you silent treating me, and you think I'm going to be, nah. You'll have a rude awakening. You'll just have silence. And ain't nobody threatening you, and I ain't trying to go back and forth with no woman. You know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, I ain't got no time for no games. Where my life is at right now, I don't have no time for no games, baby girl. Me and you can be mad, I can have a spat, we can have whatever. Then after that, you better get on your job. That's really, that's all it is. Cause you got me on my job. Nah, it ain't never gonna work like that over here. You know what I'm saying? I was trying not to leave this message, but you have left me no choice. So either you go in the direction of like moving on and shit like that, or you like just like have me just keep moving. Ain't no threat, I'm just being clear. I can't do this with you every time you get upset.
Get on.
Finally, Cassie was able. Kim Porter is the former girlfriend and mother of 3 of P. Diddy's kids, who passed away on November 15th of 2018 of some sort of bacterial pneumonia. That is the cause of death, or what they released to the public as the reason for this young, vibrant woman's passing, because, yeah, that's normal. The problem with this energy of what's going on this week with P. Diddy is he thinks he's being basically forced into the media for something that he doesn't feel is as bad as it is. His former girlfriend, the one that accused him of trafficking, kidnapping, blackmail, sexual abuse, drug addiction, which is kind of what they do when they traffic people. They keep you in a state of being drugged so you can't fight back. That happens all the time. That's why they drug you. That's why you see working girls on the street being drugged. Because why the hell would they be out there unless they were drugged once they start doing it, right? Maybe the first day they don't know what they're getting themselves into, but a week into it, they probably want to take off. And then it becomes two things: an issue of shame
and an issue of being medicated and unable to form a congruent thought to be able to say, I need to get away from this guy. You know you need to get away from him. Finally, Cassie was able to speak, and she was helped by an older man really close to her family who held her hand. So somebody came to help her out of that. I actually see that energetically. Now, when we're talking about the way that P. Diddy allegedly, but it's not alleged, it's actually factually, everybody says allegedly. If people would talk in realistic terms, because people know enough about P. Diddy to know that that is how he treated her. It's not really alleged. It's like out there, okay? And it's especially out there now. He settled immediately. Now, I wanted to focus on the energy of Kim to see how she felt about it. And I want everybody to understand that she really focuses on her children and their heart and how they're going to feel because they're protective of their father. They want to have a connection with their family members. They lost their mother. So when you lose your mother, and you have a mother and father, you have other family too, but they're not your mother and father. So there's sadness from her part around that, because the sadness is that her kids were left in this predicament where that is their surviving parent. There's also a tremendous amount of sadness from her about her family, in particular siblings and mother, who cannot get past what happened to her, cannot get over it. And it's not that you get over that. You don't get over the death of a child or a sibling, but they are stuck. And the reason they're stuck is because they want the truth. And she's acknowledging this, and the truth is slowly trickling out. So they are going to get the answers that they want. And I'm also being told that there is somebody looking into the physical traits of Kim, meaning whatever physicality they have. I don't know if they had a toothbrush with toothpaste. I don't know if they had hair from her hairbrush. I don't know what they have, but they have physical written documentation, okay? Like as in somebody recorded her talking or she recorded it. And they have some sort of evidence with her physical body. So this is either something the coroner collected or it was collected before, but you can run tests on it. The family 100% feels that she didn't die of, quote, the natural causes that they said. And they would be right. It was too easy to say she died like that. This is what bothers her. This bothers her. She tries to talk to her family. She tries to talk to them. She's kind of funny. I'm sure all of our loved ones try to do that, but the family will feel her and will have a sense of knowing she's there. But the level of sadness that they feel worries her quite a bit. So she's very, very aware of that. When I mention her former boyfriend, the energy pulls back. So she's not so focused on him. I knew this was coming. I knew this was coming is what she said. I knew this was coming. It was set into motion going back 16 years. He had a 16-year climb. I don't know what happened in 2007, but he had some sort of a shift energetically, and he took a choice or made a choice that took him on the wrong path. He was already on the wrong path, okay? Starting with the J-Lo thing in the club. That is why her career kicked off, because when you keep your mouth shut around P. Diddy, you get rewarded, right? So whatever happened in 2007 was so noted on an energetic level. You cannot escape the frequency of your actions, even if you escape repercussions on earth. You cannot escape frequency. So
there's so much to discuss. I'm gonna come at this one more time. I'm trying to stay out of this here, but Kim Porter, I'm getting chills all over. Kim Porter is down here in Atlanta, moving around between here, I don't know, what's this, Valdosta, Georgia, Athens, it's different parts of Georgia. It's a rural part of Georgia that got rocks like a waterfall or something, a big old lake like a resort part of Georgia, a beautiful part of Georgia that she's at. She's showing me with this lake. It kind of reminds me of Tallulah Falls, Georgia. So pretty down there. Kim Porter got some Native American ancestors here, and some of them speaking Patois, Creole, I don't know if she got some New Orleans roots or some Haitian or some French Creole roots they got in their family. Because, I'm getting chills. It's a male spirit standing here speaking French to me. And he is very demonic. He is on the demonic side. Y'all put my Cash App link in here for people that love me and support me. Hit my Cash App, goddamn it, make it clap. Queen Drip, King Nip, Queen Drip, King Nip, Queen Drip, King Nip. He is showing me hell fire behind him. He masters fire. He calls fire from the pits of hell, from the depths of hell. I'm trying to see what is it that he got a connection to Kim Porter. She's telling me black magic, and I'm seeing it from over there in Haiti and connected to Miami. Atlanta, down some rural areas of Atlanta, Miami, New York City, tied to them brownstones up there. I think Kim Porter might used to live up there in New York with Diddy on one of his houses, and this is also tied to Cassie. And them other females in the entertainment and music industry that he hang with. Y'all know who y'all seen him hanging with, P. Diddy hanging with, and these actresses that he hang with. I ain't gotta call no names. Kim Porter is also around Biggie. Biggie is around his mama and Lil Kim, and said there's a whole bunch of shit going on with Faith Evans. Need to check Faith Evans, and do she have a son by Biggie? And it's also tied to Lil Kim. It's some conflict going on with Faith Evans, and Faith Evans need to check her nerves and her health, because she got some type of condition going on in her body. This is what Biggie's saying, and Kim Porter is saying. And Faith is also bound by Diddy. Mary J. Blige is demonically bound by Diddy. They got curses on them because they sold their soul and dealing with them sex orgies up there. And who also coming up, I don't know this girl name, she was in Diddy and Biggie Smalls video, real cute. She was in a jacuzzi with P. Diddy, where he said, and your friends will become my friends, and we could be friends. She had her hair dyed blonde. I think she had it in a ponytail. It might have been that One More Chance. And she got a son, I think, by Diddy. About a month or so ago, she was calling Diddy out because her son was supposed to go to college. He got a promising career. I don't know if he got an athletic and a academic scholarship, and he got in trouble or something for drunk driving or something. She say that it's because he been hanging around Diddy, and that Diddy's a bad influence on his life. This is what Kim Porter showing me with this man that is speaking Creole, French, like he might be Haitian, have Haitian background. He's standing here and he's on the real evil demonic side. He said that's the side he on to protect him and get power and gain power. He's connected to Kim Porter. He's connected to P. Diddy, and I'm seeing these white dove rituals that Diddy is associated with, releasing these white doves up in the air. But the Creole man that's speaking in French, and then I hear patois, and he's saying that the white represents death. He said, if you see Diddy or anybody associated with him, around him, or people in the entertainment industry releasing white doves at somebody's funeral or at an all-white party, that's not for peace and prosperity. It's the opposite. He said the black crows are the most powerful telecommunications medium and messages, deliverers of messages in the underworld. So he strongly depends on the black crow. He said, but the white dove, I don't hold in my hand too long. The white dove they use and send out as a messenger for death. That's what he said the white dove represent. You see any celebrity holding a white dove or having it in a cage, like they released a white dove at Jackie O. That's to bind the person in the underworld as a sex slave and as a slave that you command to bring you money from the underworld to the other side and pass message and bind that person's spirit. That person physically dead, but yet still alive. That's what he said. He said, and Kim Porter know about it. I hate to say this, but Kim Porter sold her soul. She's saying it. She said she was at sex parties with Diddy. She would fight with other women. Said he messed with a lot of women and had sex parties. She would try to keep up with him and spy on him and talk to women that she thought he might have slept with, or the women that know who he's sleeping with, and the women that he was sleeping with, different races sleeping with him. And then she said he holds women hostage in these condos, these penthouses, and apartments And sometimes have 2 or 3 women in there at a time, like roommates with each other, and they all bouncing him. Then he sent them out to be handlers of other celebrities to sleep with them, get something on them. I don't know, Gary Coleman just came up in this from different world, a little midget. The cute little boy that couldn't grow and had the kidney problem. She said they put curses on people and put diseases on people and put them in their food and put them in their drink and then set people up and they wake up and don't remember what they did. Then he showed them they don't want to fuck with him and he started harassing certain men for sex or would lure men in to give them a record deal or a contract like, what that boy named that could really sing. That song Emotional, I Wish I Didn't Met Her. I seen another man say this, and he know them personally, and said that man got called somebody. He could sing his ass off. All the men he had in his group and had on their TV show, and just like them girls in that group, they were very talented, very good looking, and could sing. They didn't never go nowhere when they didn't want to play that boy game. And Kim Porter said she know that man go both ways, but she thought she was in love with him at first. She loved the lifestyle, the glamour, the recognition, worldwide recognition wherever she go, and people bowing to her, and unlimited cards and credit cards and traveling all around the world. She loved fashion. She loved clothes. She had that model type of, that bold type of slender model body and that beautiful face and naturally beautiful hair and beautiful skin. And she got all this attention everywhere she got, but then he made her a kept woman, and she would close her eyes to things and turn her head the other way. One of the biggest stars we used to be in love with was Al-B Sure. Al-B Sure was a pretty nigga that could also dance and sing. She got with him, they had beautiful children, because both of them are beautiful people. He was jealous of Al-B Sure and he wanted to punk Al-B Sure all in the mouth and ass. Al-B Sure got a curse on him. I'm still a fan of Al-B Sure and love his music, but he cowered down Al-B Sure and punked Al-B Sure down. And Kim Porter said he got shit on Al-B Sure to compromise his sexuality or make it look like it was compromised. Because I wondered, why was Al-B Sure's son up under Diddy? See, Diddy ain't got no soul. His mama ain't got no soul. They over on that side, this where the Haitian man is told me they don't give 2 fucks about nobody. They cold and their emotion very shrewd and methodical and killing people or set them up to make them kill. They set this other man that's coming up to me. What is it, Jermaine Stewart or Jermaine, somebody, he was in the entertainment industry. I don't know if he was a manager or an executive for the top record labels, and he was under Diddy. That man was down here in Atlanta and committed suicide down here in his house, and said people was following him and looking at him through the window, and I don't know if he blowed his brains out and did something like that. He killed himself out. And they said he was associated with Diddy, and Diddy was taunting him about the sex tapes he was doing undercover in the industry to get money and mess with men. And he didn't want Diddy to out him to his wife and children, and was holding that over his head because Diddy was jealous of him and wanted to get rid of him or have his foot on him. And that's how he had his foot on him, because he didn't want anybody to know about how he sold his soul and was gay for pay. A lot of these men ain't gay, but they gay for pay. This is the stuff Kim Porter is saying then Diddy and these other people, sit up and laugh about. This kind of stuff, drugging people, getting them in the party, get them to agree to shit they don't want to do, get them drinking and relax and lure them. He's a pure devil. He's a devil like his daddy, Clive Davis and Andre Harrell. They sat there and did, and other men on the top like that do stuff like this. He's a powerful gatekeeper because he's the pure devil. That's the only way he can get to where he is, and he keeps compromising men and women and this machine and getting women to do what they don't want to do, bend over on a chain, on a dog chain, eat dog food, bark like a dog, walk on their knees, get beat up, that his friends run train on him. He like to fuck his shelves, fuck his housekeepers, record that. He feel like everybody can be fucked, goddammit. Everybody gonna take this for this money. Kim Porter sold her soul and sacrificed herself for the money and the lifestyle because she knew Diddy would cut her off. They got to arguing and he cut her off before she know that he messed with men's and women's and got porn tapes. So she started investigating, trying to get stuff on him. Getting stuff in a safe, I don't know if it's a safe deposit box and a safe, trying to stock up money. But what y'all need to realize, you cannot play with the devil and win if you're not willing to be the devil and think and move as the devil. In some ways, Kim was soft for him and weak for him. And think about them children. I hate to say this here, but I don't know if Kim Porter ever had any abortions or had any children that she did not give birth to that Diddy made her get rid of, because he do pay for abortion for people. There's so many aborted babies that he got around him and don't pay people off, and they'll do it for the money. That's why he don't respect people, because he feel like everybody got a price and y'all so desperate and hungry and y'all love my lifestyle and y'all want to be me and be around me, so I can get anybody to do anything for $1. I got to introduce them to this person and that person and have them acknowledge or a picture with them or having a certain part. I understand it. But just because he gives people money and do things for them, he don't give a fuck about them. He just want to manipulate and control them. And I just looked at the cards too and said, Kim died suddenly. These people are so smooth and so shrewd. They got people on payroll on standby. Doctors, nurses, gang members, people in politics that'll do polices, detectives, that'll do anything and watch you 24/7 for money. That's what Kim Porter was saying. And she said, now this, you know, y'all know my readers, I see this stuff in the spirit. Unless I know somebody personally, I'm going to say it. If I don't know them, I don't physically know you, ain't met you. All this stuff, these people get up out their body when they physically die. They want to stay here. They want to avenge their murder. They want to expose the people. They'll stay here and they come talk to me. Kim Porter got a group of people with her on the other side. She mentioned her mother, her great-grandfather, and her grandfather. It's some black people. It's some white people. It's some Latin people. There's some lawyers and some doctors over there that have physically died or disappeared or strange things happened to them. And there's some Native American people down there doing a powwow for her right now because I can look at it and tell she got Spanish roots and she got Native American roots. And they got these medical transcripts and they got this court transcript, which make me wonder, did her and Diddy have any legal proceedings on anything around their children or anything he might have agreed to take care of her or give her, as well as any legal proceedings other people filed against Diddy or sued him that he had sealed and paid off and covered up, and strange deaths of people that fucked with him, trusted him, got babies by him. It's a lot of people got babies by him. And then when they started trying to threaten him, he threatened them back. But the difference is he will actually do what he said he's gonna do, and he'll have weak people around him to sneak and do that shit. Kim Porter, I'm seeing in the spirit. I'm not saying this. I don't have any proof of it. I just heard Kim Porter tell me that he got a lot of medical problems. And he secretly take several medication. And she said he had passed something to her and gave something to her. And that's another reason that she felt trapped, because she felt like, well, who gonna want me and who gonna want to deal with me? And then I'm gonna have to tell them that I have this condition and secretly get these medication and somebody name or somebody come to her house that he done sent over there that's a doctor or a nurse practitioner or a nurse that secretly treat him and her and other people. So I'm seeing this white girl, and I'm seeing one that might look white, but she also some type of Asian or Pacific Islander or Filipino. They some of them have contracted this same shit, and they secretly take this medication too. But from what I'm saying, it's two main. For some reason, I hear the word Beatrix, and that's all I'm saying. I'm not saying it's definite.
So I want y'all to really get into this. This is Alexis K. Tyler. This video was done August the 10th of 2023. We are in 2025. She is describing a Filipino woman. She already knew Cassie, right? Was dating Diddy. But she described a Filipino woman. I want y'all to just kind of just take things in and just listen.
See an IV cocktail of vitamin and mineral and nutrients and like an antiviral load cocktail to keep the viral load down to zero so they undetectable don't come up. That's what Kim Porter is saying about him. And her sister is a auntie or somebody like an auntie they got in their family. And if this woman is independently wealthy or successful, she got her own money and her own business, and is tied to this gang of organized crime that's tied to him, tied to Diddy. And somebody else in businesses in Atlanta, this female inside of Kim Porter family, they keep tabs on her sister. It's a couple of males, another one that's a mother that got children. It's some mothers, women that got children that's getting money from him and prosperity. They don't give two fucks about Kim Porter's sister. Kim Porter's sister really needs to watch herself, because her family, these females in the family, some of them are older than her that talk to him and his associates that deal with business and taxes and hooking them up with money, make sure they got everything that they want. All they care about is greed and money, and make sure they eat and have their property they take care of. They don't care about Kim Porter's sister. Look, bitch, Kim Porter gone. That's how they feel about her. And they actually told, look, she gone. She dead and gone. Why you sitting up here whining about that? Well, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to hear that. Get your money, get the property, keep your mouth quiet, because ain't nothing you can do about it, and you can't bring them back, so what you gonna tell for? Knowing they're gonna mess everything up for you and everything we got going on. Bitch, shut your motherfucking mouth. They look at her like she weak. Like she weak and cowardly up here crying and whining about this shit. They going behind her back, painting a fucked up mental picture, says she got a mental problem. They wanna see her go to the psych unit. They collecting information on her now and talking about her. And especially now she out in public. She a drunk. You can't believe that what she said. She be hallucinating. She don't sleep good. See, this girl right here is spiritual, like her sister Kim Porter. But Kim Porter compromised herself and sold out. Then she bagged up. She was like, you never gonna change to a dirty motherfucker. You done did this and that. You cheated on me for years. I done been in the voyages with you to see what you would do. I know you as a girl and a boy, and I'm tired of it. You done compromised me. I done kept your secrets, all the dirty shit you done done. I see you ain't gonna change. You know what? I done compiled this. I'm gonna write a book and I'm gonna tell everybody, bitch, no, you ain't. No, you ain't, goddammit. And see, she have to understand. Just like they was treating her privately and saying she had some kind of goddamn pneumonia. If they got doctors to come in there and treat your damn ass, they also got doctors to treat your ass with an infectious disease, a virus, or bacterial infection that she can't get well from, because not only did they introduce it to her intravenously through the IV or a shot in the ass or in the arm, they'll also feed that shit inside of her, give her shit, and then give her the medicine to get rid of that shit. But we giving you the medicine to get rid of it. I don't know why it's not responding, because you also feed the shit to her. See, she wouldn't think about that. Well, you know, I sent him over there to take care of you. This is a medical doctor, ain't nobody gonna know. And he'll get the prescription in somebody else's name and give it to you, so don't nobody know that you got that shit, or we'll say it's pneumonia. But you know, them viruses also produce side effects of pneumonia and other side effects, because I'm seeing she having a problem with her upper respiratory. Look like she might have a vision problem, so I don't know if she wore contact lenses or glasses, or it started developing a lung problem and sticky mucus-like bacteria and fungus in her lungs, and then it went down to affect her liver. Affect her liver, started affecting her kidneys. If she would have shut down and needed dialysis and would have had a whole bunch of other medical problems, because she talked too much. She shouldn't have never told Diddy or implied that she was going to write a book and tell, because she was sick of him. And she see how evil he is. He don't have no soul. He do demonic. He worship demons. They walk with that man and give him what he wants inside that industry, because they're all demonic. You get rewarded for it until you physically die and bust hell wide open. When you get older and they get tired of you, or the run you got, the 20-year, 25-year run you got is coming down to an end. A lot of people die bad. They have real bad accidents, or they die body drawed up infections with disease and stuff like that and gave everybody else. That stuff turns back on him. Or depending if he attacked God's people, or people that are protected in love, and that stuff turned back on him. You know, it's creepy to me, all that Atlanta connection you got, even in Atlanta, controlling Atlanta for years, because, you know, Black Rob, the one like, whoa, was last year. He came out and exposed it. I didn't know he was living down here. He had them same type of opportunistic infection. I believe he had that virus because it was affecting his liver, his kidneys. He was drawed up and real black, and said Diddy had stole his money, and he said, Diddy said, if you went in there smoking crack in a recording studio, you'll have some goddamn money. And he said, no, he took it, and the contract he signed, he had no rights. A lot of other people that was under contract with Diddy said they were young, they didn't have no lawyer, they didn't know no better. They signed 360 deals, he took all their rights. They not getting no residual checks or nothing, they have nothing. And then you see they all either turn into sex slaves in the industry, like them girl from Danity Kane. They can't get no job, don't have no money. Nobody else will hire them and get them record deals after fucking with him, because he don't put the word out. But they end up getting sick and drawed up. Then died, he get his insurance off of all of them. They found to get nothing. But Black Rob exposed it. They said Diddy went on and paid for his funeral last year. Black Rob down here all at the vegetarian shops and the fresh juicing and drinking all that juice and stuff. And that demon was on him and on his organs sitting on him. Baby, when they got them curses on him, you can drink all that fresh juice and them peel and shit you want to. That ain't gonna help you, because Black Rob was doing shit, not like I see a couple of dicks up in him. You know what, Lord forgive me, I shouldn't have said that about him, like, whoa. Shouldn't have said it and left them babies behind him and take care of with them Mexican women or them white women. He didn't have it to give that. He was on dope, like Diddy said, that was true. But he the devil. And he lured him into them guys. Man, it's so much. I got too much stuff to do. I wasn't gonna even say nothing else about this. I ain't even got no big on this phone, because I need to get my own stuff together. I got so much work to finish and shit of my own. It's just so much that Kim said she know about all of the shit, and then he jammed her so she couldn't leave and start blackmailing her and put shit on her and magic on her when she was bound by the secrets. And she had took the oath, doing all kind of freaking nasty shit with him, and knowed about the women's, and she was keeping a dossier on it. Then she said the feds, some of them women's with him done became federal informants, and some of them done came up missing and going to hiding, and they scared of him because he will have people do their dirty work. See, they want to make Kim Porter's sister look like she mental ill, and they're going to create, she needs to watch the new people hanging around her, and that man that's down here, that comedian man, he has, from his mama's side, I don't know what their background is or where his peoples is from, but he has naturally angelic, he has angels around him protecting him. But when he speaks negatively like that, because they got him, they're trying to put magic and shit on that man to jam that man up. I thought he was joking. I don't know if he's joking when he said they blocked his food stamp. I don't know if that man really get food stamps because he's a comedian. But he need to watch himself because they don't put a death energy out and they don't put the alarm out. That them two down here keeping up shit in Atlanta and talking. Somebody was following him anyway. Because of some issues he got with somebody that don't want him in the entertainment industry and don't want to see him blow up because he done said some little conflicting shit that let them know he ain't gonna play the game. Then you're gonna come down here and talk to Kim Porter's sister trying to keep up shit. They feel like he's a shit keeper upper and talk too much. But they will send somebody to look at you and your old friends look you up, bitches or niggas. Anybody want to talk to you about sudden shows or opportunities to get you to leave her by herself, they're gonna kill her. If she don't watch it, and if she keep entertaining negative thoughts up there, goddamn it, slick slurring and slick drop, if she ain't got no pills around, they're gonna put that in her head to make her, well, you know, I'm tired, I need to go to the doctor, I'm dealing with depression, and, you know, I'm thinking these thoughts. Once she tells somebody that shit, they're gonna put that in her record. Oh, yeah, she said that. Because they follow her around, so they know where she needs to check, get equipment. Her and that man need to get some equipment and check in her house, wherever she be at, or any type of electronic devices, because she been in a place for a while, or some of them family members. It's one of them got a little boy. I don't know if he's a teenager or he's moving into teen, and deal with them video games and computers. One of the women in that family that ain't down with her, that pretend like they her friend and family member is talking about her, help setting her up. They done had people in her house around her wherever she done been, and family members and shit done put surveillance down. They be watching her in the house, one of them house she had for a while. I don't know where she lived, how long she lived there. She been in the house for a minute, but they done been around or been in. Slick put shit in there, got a remote control surveillance, be watching her, and they, for some reason, I'm not saying this is true. I'm just saying, people's in her family that been around her are men she done fucked. I don't know if she married, got no children. She needs to watch the men that she fucking somebody right now for some niggas she was fucking with. Women's around her because somebody wanted her to be bisexual. Right. Kim Porter also done been bisexual. That's what I'm getting in the spirit to try to keep this nigga here. They will go out and tell her business. One person done already got paid. It's a male for telling her business. She needs to see if there's gonna be new men in her life or old men's coming back because she get lonely. And it makes her feel crazy. Instead of her meditating and doing her protection work and uncrossing bath and uncrossing flow washes in her car and checking her house for bugs and checking the phones, she needs to get another phone, she needs to get another computer. If anybody in her family, she needs to think about have been around her phones, her computers, they done clone a couple of her phones. If she done change phone, they got different numbers, they done clone that, they done clone the computer, they go remote in to the computer and they follows her in the car and they track her. So they say she's emotionally unstable. She ain't got them all. This is what the family's saying, and this is the information they feed into different people in the industry. Don't talk to her. Don't help her. Don't listen to her. She's lying on me. You know, she on the edge. She ain't never quite had them all. But the girl is intuitive. The girl is an empath. She speaks to her sister. She feels her sister. And her sister be trying to come to her and dream she be in that house and around her sister. But if she around here drunk, up on camera slurring and shit, and up here taking medicine, then they're gonna try to get her committed. If she go to a doctor or she start speaking to people in the family about she can't sleep and she feel mentally unstable and shit, or somebody around her, somebody out to get her. See, what she needs to do is do this thing professional. If this man is threatening her like she's saying close her bank account, she needs to go to the bank and demand the reason why. She needs to cover her name and address out to her account and start showing this shit, showing proof of it instead of saying it. She needs to get an attorney to cover her and go to this bank and document all this shit and then following her ass. Because if she is saying this, but she is not getting a lawyer to help her or to respond, and then she up there on that camera leaning or talking slick slurred and shit, they're gonna say, you see what I'm saying? Don't believe nothing she say because she don't have no proof of it. She don't have no evidence of the shit. She just saying it. She crazy. And I believe her. I believe she's not crazy. She's not. I know she's not from what I'm seeing and what I'm sister saying. He started doing her sister the same way because she want me to marry her. She mad because I didn't, and she started shit. I'm leaving her. She said Kim tell a lie because she jealous and all that shit. Slipped somebody in there to they was taking care of her. If it wasn't him that did it, he had somebody go in there and pardon that lady and put that lady to sleep. Put that lady to sleep. She said either that lady was smothered, she was strangled or smothered, or given something to cause her to have a seizure, like an epileptic seizure, come stop breathing in her throat, cut her hair off. But it looked like nobody did nothing, or if they did, they paid them to hush that shit up. She showed me around her face, her eyes, her mouth, her neck, her throat, going around in her chest. That's what she not showing me the low by her feet and her legs. She's showing me upper body. From the head, eyes, mouth, nose, some phlegm, or choking, or foaming, chest, and torso. That is back in her arm. Some was in her arm, or shot up in there, or IV, and from the head down, they did something up in here. That's what she said. She said medicine. The antibiotic, they said, well, give me that. It wasn't working. She said, then they decided to come on in and fuck up her lungs and the fluid in her lung. And it's this is so much. I ain't got no business on here. What else she saying? This girl, her sister. They're gonna send somebody in on her and send somebody in on that comedian down here. They need to start documenting stuff, and it's smart that they're putting it out on these videos. They need to keep talking, keep doing the video, but that girl needs to get legal representation, a lawyer to holler at that bank. That way she has documentation that they doing this to her and they shedding her money off. That man need documentation they shedding his food stamp off or whatever they shedding off, because if y'all up there, and I could tell both of them under psychic attack, the way they looking and the way that man was breathing. They kind of put stress on that man and make that man go home, or make that man get stuck down here and go to his hotel and whoop his ass, or make shit start like tampering with the cars, and then he not documenting nothing, she not documenting nothing with police and with an attorney. It's gonna make it look like they paranoid and they making up shit and I'm a big star and they want to say that I'm harassing him. And this ain't the first time the shit been said. Them two ain't the only one that said the shit. Like Jaguar White said it, and you see after she started telling shit, she know them. She was in the industry. Then next thing you know, she out there hollering, taking her son's cremated ashes, rubbing them in her face and head out there. They had to call the police on her and put her in jail and put her in the psych ward and shit. And she still don't like, she quite got them wrapped too tight and put them spells and shit on her. And she talking about she protected and got that gun. Baby, this gun ain't gonna protect you from the demons that I'm seeing in the underworld. If you didn't, just like Erykah Badu. I love Erykah Badu. I love her music and everything. I thank her again. She shouted me out last week and put my video up there. And people started hitting me up, say, Erykah, don't put the video back up and made you viral. Erykah Badu told her to leave her alone. They both out there in Texas talking about Erykah Badu put roots on people and talk about Jaguar, keep my name out your mouth. I'm gonna put roots on you and everybody that go fuck with you. So a lot of people that fuck with Jaguar in the studio, they don't research her career. Jaguar kept on talking about Erykah. But you talking about you ain't worried about it, and Jaguar holding that damn gun up with her husband. Now he talking about she damn a bulldog out here and brought that nigga in the house who is sweet as sugar. Got sugar in that tank, fuck with nature boy. Next thing you know, she clearly ain't protecting herself from these people. These people are highly spiritual, are into the occult, whether it's positive or negative. In that industry, they into the occult. They know they gotta protect themselves and do stuff they can really say that shit about Erykah. Erykah kept saying, leave me alone, Jaguar. Stop talking about me, Jaguar. Next thing she knows, she out there in Texas down at that store hollering and done jumped on her damn husband out the blue. A wild woman, like a wild ass tiger up there, just out the blue done lost her goddamn ever-loving mind. They already said she was crazy. She said there were people after the same shit right here, like Kim Porter's sister. She wasn't documenting it. She didn't have no attorney. Riding around talking shit, and Erykah's spirit talked it back, clapped it back. See, you know that's what it's a spiritual warfare. You can't be out here talking about these people that's high up, even if it's true. Because I can leave both on. And not have no spiritual backup, because these people ain't saying nothing for a reason. They got physical teams out in Atlanta spying on her, and I can see her. Kim Porter's sister feel like something around her, or somebody standing behind her. She look back, don't see that, but she feel it. She's correct. It's not just her sister trying to warn her goddamn ass to gird your loins with the spiritual protection. She's not doing it because you up here and you unstable. Why do you think you unstable? Because it's people's in your family, and it's them goddamn women, and it's a couple of older women in her family that's taking money and doing roots on her. Just, you know what, man, I'm finna go. Ooh, because Kim is out there by my tree. And she got a group of people with her, innocent people that have been physically killed. inside the industry around him, they're gonna sacrifice their life and make that man a whole bunch of money by having sudden, accidental, unexplained death that he got insurance policy on them and they fucking children and women see them got pregnant and came up missing. We would never know because there's so many of them. They down in Atlanta, they underground. It's like, oh, you don't want to fuck me no more? You don't want to be tell, bitch, tell what? You know what? Put that bitch in that underground sex trafficking and send that bitch over to Africa, goddamn Saudi Arabia, make a mockery of the bitch and let her fucking son for the enjoyment of us, just like Julius Caesar. And like them other Roman leaders had them bitches out there sucking dick for fun while they feasting and laughing and enjoy their goddamn meal and get up and skeet on them and use the bathroom on them. Man, look, I'm gone. Y'all want me to say some more, goddammit? Hit my cash up and make it clap because this shit is making me so uncomfortable and Kim Porter ain't leaving and she's talking and she's saying to me that females, it's more females in Kim Porter family that done targeted her sister. She know who I'm talking about. She done talk to them. They tells her to keep her fucking mouth quiet and you'll get even more money and other things if you want to go along with it. Her sister don't really want the money. Her sister want her sister's life back or justice for her sister's life and exposure for her sister's life and them twins. Them two little twins, Kim Porter hair look just like Diddy with two wigs on, goddammit. They are mixed between her and her body type, but they by the head, they look just like P. Diddy ass. Them two is his doppelgangers. He gonna use them. Manipulate, control them. They got a lot of their mama energy in, but he got them twins under control. He got L.B. Short under control. L.B. Short got a death mask on him. I see it on his face. He looked like a ghost by the head. It's a white spirit on him, chalk white. L.B. Short need to get himself seed about. He need to get what they said out here, two-head and Dr. Chicken Foot or somebody, goddammit, because he done had this curse on him for a while with Diddy because he want to go in his hind. Now, I'm not going to say L.B. Show compromised himself by Christopher Williams because that's what Jaguar said about Christopher Williams, and Christopher Williams was fine than a motherfucker. Pretty, both of them pretty ass niggas. And Jaguar Wright said that one of Diddy's high-ranking attorneys said she opened the door and came in and sang Christopher Williams go down on Diddy to get up there and sang and do them deals and shit. And what bothered me was Christopher Williams and response to the shit. Christopher Williams have not physically come out and talked about it and called Jaguar a goddamn lie. He tried to go the high road and say, you know, he just gonna pray for her. They acting like she's a pathetic liar. You think if I was a real nigga and I was a pretty ass nigga and I used to be hot and now he hot no more, look in his face. There's something wrong with Christopher Williams.
Welcome to this segment of AKT Celebrity Reads. I'm your host, Alexis K. Tyler. I just got up. I didn't realize how tired I was. I've been resting all day. My body was just exhausted. I really needed the rest. Thank you all for loving and supporting me and donating. Excuse me. And being in the chat and commenting and clicking like and sharing. I love when you all comment and give your points of view and then you talk to each other under the videos, and I read it, you know, when I'm not too busy. Some stuff I miss because many times so many people are commenting, and that's a good thing because the more you click like, the more you click share, the more you comment, the more my videos get seen and get put up as an option for people to click on. You know, I've been thinking about this since last night, and you know, we know yesterday was the Lionsgate opening, and you're seeing God taketh away and God giveth. This is a period, and then looking at the moon and the moon phases and what's going on in space. I think there was a Venus conjunction yesterday. And we're also dealing with the Leo conjunction, which would also activate dealing with the Sirius, constellation of Sirius and Egypt, and the pyramids lining up perfectly with Sirius during the Lion's Gate opening, dealing with the Leo, the whole month of August, 8/8. So that could go, some people said I think these astrologers or numerologists says it goes into a week after the Lion's Gate. I'm saying 2 to 3 weeks, basically the whole month of August. Plus we have Nipsey's birthday, that's a Leo, August 15th. We have several Leo birthdays. And I see last night Tory Lanez got sentenced to 10 years, so I'm sure his lawyers are going to appeal that and probably working on that appeal as we speak. The 14-year-old actress, Little Tay, is dead, and her brother is dead. Quite strange. The news said that, I think that was yesterday, today, during the Lionsgate, the big opening of the portal, the Stargate. Lionsgate is also a Stargate because it's the Stargates lined up with the 3 pyramids in Egypt. And we deal with Osiris. Nipsey told me he was Osiris. That God has been working with him and elevating him as well as Tukuti, God, and Anubis, the god of the underworld, as well as some of the Egyptian goddesses. So he is Osiris, also dealing with Aset Asar Haru. It would also be Osar. Yes, Aset Asar Haru. More like Haru, or the Haru would be the baby, like the Christ, who died and was resurrected, which would go into the Christian mythology story. That's where they got it from. The old African and Egyptian stories and Native American stories of the Son being crucified for mankind and then resurrected. That's what Nipsey says that he is. And I remember seeing a post a long time ago when he was with Lauren London, and he called her Isis, and he called himself Osiris. I don't remember where it is. Somebody got it, sent it to me. So I have a copy. I remember seeing it, and I thought that was so strange. Once he was physically murdered, and he came here and he started telling me what he thought about her and his experiences with her, and said they were not in a monogamous relationship at the time of his death. They were never engaged, and he was never going to marry her. When he saw how treacherous she was, and how she was a pass-around inside of that industry, very lying and cunning and like to start shit, two-faced, like to fight him and argue, run her mouth all the time, it's just messy as fuck. And he said she backstabbed. She up backdooring with P. Diddy and T.I. and them, DJ Khaled, David Gross, all these people that was supposed to carry civil, who all of them are associated with Queen Afua. So when you look at all of these people, it would be strange to me. Thank you, baby, for putting my cash up in there. It would be strange to me for you to say you're a good person, you're a righteous person, you are Isis, and your man is Osiris. You love your man and you protect your man, and you are now a sacred woman. And she said she was psychic now. She said that Nipsey still live in the house with her and they still in love with each other. That's what she told Andrew Martinez, if y'all go look at that video. But right before she said that, she said she was never in love with it. That she was not able to love him while he was here, when he was physically here. She was about possessing and controlling him and obsessed with him. It's like, I don't want you, but I don't want nobody else to have you. I want to keep getting your money, getting the dick, using this baby to get money at you. And, to her, it was like a personal ATM. But she sat there and admitted what I had said. All these years, they threatened to kill me and come to Atlanta and beat me up about her and put my address out and said I was lying. It came out of her own mouth, man. Just like I said, that Young Thug will go into jail, and that his gang was going to turn on him and say the crimes they committed and some murders they committed. They were going to all tell police that Young Thug told him to do it. And I said, and he needs to watch T.I. with Shekinah, because Shekinah know a lot of their secrets. When I seen Shekinah and Young Thug and T.I. in the video together, I said T.I. is going to set Young Thug up to get himself out of him and his wife raping and drugging them little girls. You notice that every time T.I. get in something, all of a sudden it's hushed up. Certain other artists get into something, get accused of something illegal, drug-wise, sexual-wise, or fraud. Whenever you see they never go to jail and they never get hushed up, just like Suge Knight had said about Snoop, that means they snitching. They don't do no time, they get out, they snitching. And I knew that T.I. was going to snitch on Young Thug and set Young Thug and gonna add up. But he hang with him, and see, you see now, Young Thug in jail and the shit with T.I. going bye-bye. And these women that want to sue him said he was raping them when they were 16, 17 years old with his woman. And they out in Cali, because a long time ago, T.I. and Tiny got stopped and arrested in Cali for all them pills on them. Getting high and doing it, because a lot of the rappers and artists live out there now, and they doing group sex and all that together. Like I had said, Will Smith and his wife were bisexual. She really don't respect Will Smith and handle him and do him any kind of way. And we know she's also a witch, and high-ranking witch in the occult. She's also under a fool and with Lauren. All these people go together. See, now it's come out, this man did a video, said that Diddy and Will Smith been going together for years. Said that Kim Porter, sister, said she seen a video, I don't know if she was at the party or if Kim Porter saw it, and said that Will Smith thing disappeared and Diddy mouth down and Diddy throat.
Take it deep though. But I wish you'd do it 2 turns so I can see it. I need to polish up on my skills and nigga just open his mouth, and it's gone. It's like he's like it just swallowing air down his throat. Said people dingling disappear and did in mouth and throat. Nursing his blood balls in his jaw, deep down in his esophagus. Said that he could take them down. I put it in my community forum. Kim Porter's, I'm gonna tap on that right there too a little bit. I'm gonna come back later, get deeper into that right there. Kim Porter said that. Kim Porter's sister said, and when I looked at the video, I didn't know she lived in Atlanta. I think they from Atlanta or one of the Georgia towns. The man flew into Atlanta and was talking to Kim Porter's sister. She don't look exactly like her in the face, but you know, she looks similar. Got the color, hair, pretty hair and stuff. One little thing I saw real quick, just from watching a little bit of it. Kim Porter's sister really needs to be careful because Diddy is a high-ranking black magician. Dirty as hell. That sold his soul straight to the devil. Years ago, when he first started out with Andre Harrell and Clive Davis and participating in orgies with them, see, then Jamie Foxx come into this. I seen Jamie Foxx in that little interview time he didn't want to see him in the hospital and fucked up. If Jamie Foxx, and I didn't see him discussing it, so y'all let me know if he said he never got it. He got to jail. Tell me if I'm wrong, if somebody asked him and he addressed that. I never seen him address that. If he did, Jamie's already cloned. Because once that thing get in you and that graphite metal in there, along with it being linked to the cloud and Bill Gates, that's another thing Nipsey told me I got to come back and talk about with Bill Gates and what they're doing here. And Bill Gates Sr., Bill Gates' daddy, and Margaret Sanger. They all tied together in the Nazi agenda. That's what Nip said. It's in effect right now as we speak. Y'all already seen that fake meat in there in the stove. Cancer cells turned into fake chicken in the stove. And one of the Indian scientists that produced it was sitting there eating it on the camera and said it doesn't hurt you. Okay, Jamie Foxx is spooked and scared as a motherfucker. Jamie Foxx is real scary and real scared. He cannot and he is not going to say it. On camera, he said he's normal and he's fine and he's not. Yep, he walking around jumping around like he's Superman, getting bitches they pocketbooks, reaching damsels in distress and shit. This is all a staged agenda thing here. He has been threatened and he is afraid his life is in danger. Dealing with Diddy, not just Diddy, dealing with that Asian man that had all that money paying him to go to political campaigns and Obama campaign and pay them. He's traveling with him last year in Vegas and Christmas and balling for years. Jamie sitting up there participating in them all men's nut throwing basketball games up there in LA, them basketball challenges, and hosting them sex parties with some of them women. Some got killed in there, ODing in there. I addressed this before with Jamie. See, Jamie done did a lot of underhanded shit and took a lot of money and enjoyed the benefits of sex orgies and fame and fortune at the expense of other people, because people have lost their lives around him, Diddy, Will and Jada. All these people. You know that lady Sabrina that T.I. and his wife was having sex with, and then she came out exposed and told me how he put that gun to the back of his head, said Lauren London was there and saw it. Nana never spoke about it. And you see they protect their own devils. See, she would never turn against Diddy or any of them in them circles, because Diddy got shit on her and sex tapes on her and all the other ones that go way back, because she was fucking with Diddy as a young girl, 17, 18 years old, when she left home and was the model of Sean John and was over there with Cassie doing threesomes over there, taking turns and took turns on and ran trains. This is what Nipsey told me. And see, and now this stuff is coming out. You see what happened to Young Thug as set up, locked on. The main snitch right there, they snitch on a lot of people. T.I. even admitted he had snitched on their dead uncle, goddamn it, and told some shit to get off on him. Shawty Low said it. I mean, it's so, man, we know. And it's come back to Jamie Foxx, because they all tied in them sex and bisexual ring. Usually them men's have to, in LL Cool J, all these men's with Quincy Jones. Tevin Campbell ass can say he ain't gay all he want to. They was having him in the ass when he was there 9 and 10. He sang like a little sis if you go up there and listen. Can you tell where we going to? Go look at the video, goddamn it, when he was little. You can see he sang like a sis up there. That's about 9 years old. I don't know if the church director or the damn choir director got up into his ass first, or they sent him up there around Quincy Jones now. Out there eating chicken and waffles and out there getting fucked down in the park and sucking dicks in the park bathroom like Joe and Michael. And Joe and Michael got sick and infected. See, I wonder, is Kevin Campbell, did he pick up anything? You know,
because he been looking drawed up, you know, for a long time. He still sane. Look like a sis, I mean. And then he wanted to sue Jaguar Wright, but he never sued Jaguar Wright for saying that he met with men and that he was out there in the park messing with. He got caught out there. I don't know if he got locked up, but it was in the news years ago when he was younger. He was out there running around after Quincy Jones and all them had turned him out. I guess saying him popped his finger and bent his little bit of wrist at 11 years old out there. Then he started going out there sucking people thing up, you know. See, I just woke up. Maybe I'm just tired talking shit like this. See, Jamie Foxx is tied into the same shit and the same people, and they blackmailing him. Did it, and somebody else is blackmailing him. Several people, a white man is doing it. White women's, and I mean, because Jamie Foxx know a little bit of everybody. People that we don't know, he know high-ranking people, even tied to Epstein. If he wasn't over there on Epstein Island, his goddamn self over there on the Lolita. Jamie Foxx is real sneaky and real slick. A big damn liar, because at certain times you'll see Jamie Foxx talking. If you look at him, I don't care if he's playing a character. You see how he lick his tongue real fast across his bottom teeth is like that. When he do that or shift his mouth like on one side like that, Jamie Foxx be telling lies when he lick his tongue. He good at licking his tongue round now, because people like him sexually because he's a pleaser. He likes to get pleased, but it's something about what Jamie mouth do. I'm not trying to get in that man business, but that man, like, he can get some good throat, put it like that. And I'm not gonna say if he give good male throat or if he give good female throat. I mean, it really look like the nigga mouth go both ways. His tongue, his teeth go both ways. His lip go both ways. And see, he don't want us to know, but you know, we can pick up that shit and sitting up there, and I'm looking around here behind. Just like Kim Porter said that Diddy Hine is loose and juicy like. Says she like to test men behind. Look, that's what she said. And I said Kim Porter, her sister said she tested Diddy behind. Said he like people hand in his hind part. And said Hine get juicy and it kind of loosen like. I don't know if that's the size of a quarter, a 50-cent piece, or a fist. He like to get fists. But the girl is saying herself, Lord. See, this has to be true because too many people have been saying this about Diddy and Clive and Andre Harrell and for years. And saying how these men going, these pretty niggas that you see in that LL Cool J, T.I., to get in a $1 million club, you got to take a sexual initiation, or you're going to do blood. You're gonna sacrifice somebody. Blood in, blood out, or both. They might do both, sexual and blood. And, I mean, this is what this lady said, her sister said, and see, I'm worried about the sister. You know what? Don't take this the wrong way, what I'm getting ready to say. I could have just caught her wrong. Maybe my eye caught her wrong. Because I'm willing to apologize. It looked like Kim Porter's sister slick, do dope, or slick drunk. Or drunk, or take something. Now, I'm not saying she bad on the corner. Maybe her doctor gave it to her. Because she cannot accept the death of her sister. And she feel like if her sister physically dead, she haunting her. Like her sister's really not dead. Her sister be in the house, around the house. Like she do, like be fucking with her and like trying to get her attention. And like she can't really rest since that happened to her sister. Because she feel like she can hear and see her sister. And it's true. She is hearing and seeing her. But maybe she's not used to that, or you know, because her sister's spirit is so strong in this realm and she won't Diddy exposed. The sister ain't, Kim Porter ain't going nowhere. It's just she was, I don't know, she was choked and drugged, Kim Porter. Now, look like it's also a demon over there. Diddy done put a suicide demon on Kim Porter's sister with another female, which, see, his sister needs to watch it because sometimes she gets so depressed she want to be with her sister. And then it could be times where she get high or drunk, and it might be an accidental overdose or something. She got a suicide spirit on her. I don't know if she noted or picked it up, but if what I'm getting is correct, she got a substance problem because she's grieving and she's mourning. Either she's a slick drunk on the low or slick pill pop up, you know. And I'm not joking about this. I'm not trying to be funny with the damn on this. I'm dead ass serious. I picked it up. I only watched the video I shared on community forum for a few minutes because it was too hard. I said, that girl is in that video. She was behind them, and I seen the sister look like she's miserable and depressed because she knows that he murdered her sister, but she clearly doesn't have the evidence to prove it. But now she's speaking out. She's speaking out but you can look at her and tell something wrong with her. At least I can. When I look in her face, when I look in her eyes, I says she's either drunk or drinking, or she's popping pills, or she's doing both. Because she seemed off to me. And I seen it on her head. I said, they don't put a suicide spirit on her. Sometimes people get so depressed and they're drinking, and they're in so much pain and depressed, they don't keep up with the amount. If they're drinking at the time, they're numb and they don't really feel it, but they're popping a pill and their body starts to depend on what it is, good enough a tolerance for it, and then you may take two, or accidentally, because it's a spirit. See, I know how those spirits work because people have put them on me and tried to make me do it. They go get one out of a grave, or go get one out of a grave with somebody they know killed themselves, and go put that on that person, or come to that person's door and throw something up on their door to throw their spirit up there at their door and make it come in, the spirit will walk in there and get on them. If they don't know and they can't see and hear shit, and it'll sound like a voice in your head, or you see visions, you go to sleep, or while you wake, it'll be standing there and it'll start, why don't you just go up there, you know you're tired and going through everything you're going through, why don't you go up there and get that gun you got from that bed and just blow your brains out and lay down, and you know it'll be all over, you'll rest, it's okay, I understand, or why don't you go over there and take them pills? You see, that way you'll still be casket ready, and you know they'll find you soon. And you just doze off, and you just get up out your body. You don't feel nothing. So you want to cry no more. You want to feel no stress. You go there and be with them. You know, love and who you miss. Or go out there and put yourself in a position to make somebody do it. Or you know, walk in front of a car. You know, jump in the pool. They'll say shit because they know where your weakness is. Those spirits see and hear everything, and then whoever's controlling it. Because the girl told me that time, she told me before, I talked to people that deal with Santeria, the Cuban magic, and she wanted to break up this couple. She was fucking a black man, and even though her family were real racist, a white Cuban. She was fucking him, and he was with a black woman. She took him from the black woman and started doing magic to keep him because she fell in love with that thing. And then I guess it started wearing off. The black man left the white Cuban lady and went back to the black lady. The white Cuban lady started having almost like a mental breakdown because she couldn't sleep without that thing on that pole, that soul pole. She fell in love with him, spent her whole life with him. She didn't care what nobody thought. Nobody said. She started stalking. Then she started going to a Cuban voodoo priest. And one of the specialties was Santeria. And said she knew his address. He didn't know it. She was stalking him, following him around. They kept doing black magic on him, trying to pull him back, and she'll call him and he said, I don't want to be with you, I don't want to be with you. They went out there to a grave one night. She wouldn't give up. She kept just spending money. They went to a grave and got this spirit out of this grave, depending on what they want. They get somebody young, old, get somebody married, somebody got murdered, somebody committed suicide. Depending on what they're looking for, they'll find it. But they had them pots with human skulls with the brain still in them, human parts and blood in them. Their spirit tell them what to do. Went and got a grave to make them fight. Got their spirit, got that dirt, did them rituals on it. Went to that lady's house where that black man with that black woman and throw that shit on that porch. They opened that door, hot damn. That thing got in there. They started fighting. They had a perfect relationship. Fighting and raising hell like cats and dogs in there, like something just broke loose on him. And that man could not stand that black woman. He, you know where he went? Back over there to the Cuban one. He married her. And when the lady I knew that was telling me about it, she said she saw her in the store and said she looked, her eyes bucked. She looked real scared because a man was nearby. She didn't want him to know that she was associated with anybody that knew magic or he might figure it out. She turned and hurried up. Went the other direction. She stopped speaking to her. Once she got that man off to herself, she cut, because the lady I knew was helping her do it. She cut her off. She didn't want him to know or sense it, I guess, because once she got what she wanted, but see, you have to keep renewing that shit. The same way you got them is the same thing you got to do to keep them. That stuff don't last forever. And I guess, hey, she fucking him, sucking him, getting his semen, his spit, and she feeding him and got a period and her spit and her vaginal secretion. You know, people will keep renewing this shit. When they got, somebody could be so obsessed with you and so in love with you, or you could feel that way about somebody, that the person is just like that song through the wire, you know, out on a limb. Tina Marie, you'll do anything. You can't live without that person. Or you want the person gone because they talk too motherfucking much or they know something that they can get your ass fucked up. See, that's what I'm saying with Kim Porter. That kind of spirit I've seen over there tormenting. It's two of them over there. It's Kim Porter herself. She's still here and she wants to speak. I don't want to talk about her ass too much because you know how they'll find me, goddammit. And that man said that Diddy tried to destroy him, got his lawyers to try to take his videos down and attack him. So he came down here and met her sister, recently, it was a few weeks or so ago. It's got the date on there. And I seen it, I never seen her until today. And I said, Kim Porter is in there with her sister. She here in Philip. She thinks she crazy. She not. I think she kind of know that's I get it's another spirit. Where Diddy and them put them spells on it. It's a female. It be talking to her, trying to get her to kill herself. That's why I said I hope she's not doing what I think she's doing, and she's not self-medicating, she's not drinking, and not taking other kind of drugs. I don't care if you tell her, because I'm not trying to be funny here. I'm concerned. We don't want to hear that the sister went to sleep and they found in that the sister didn't wake up. You see what I'm saying? There's magic being done on her, and I don't know if she know anything about magic or she get into protection, but she goddamn better be getting it because it's just like what I was saying about Nipsey's baby mama, the one that was an ATL that be up on the Diddy. There's no way you can be a good person and a spiritual person and everybody you around is dirty and fuck and steal people music, manage people and steal their money, and then you come up there because you know that Diddy produced a song on Nipsey's album, Young Niggas, and Nipsey was hanging with Diddy and Lauren and Cassie. Jay-Z was managing him, Rock Nation. He worked with DJ Khaled, Big Booty John Legend, T.I. He all up under him in Atlanta at Magic City, hanging with him and all out in L.A. And these are known fucking killers and snitches and set motherfuckers up. And Nipsey was on the contract, And then she told me that that's what happened. And how can she be a good person and everybody else going for and all them? Everybody around her dirty as hell and set motherfuckers up and steal people's shit and steal their music and the part of they goddamn and steal that man weed line and all that shit. It's like, how could she be good? And all these motherfuckers dirty as hell and set and was in his music and in his money and in his business, huh? Just like when T.I. went up to the store, a few days after he got shot, I'm supporting, I'm buying and supporting the family, the marathon continued. And he had that cell phone, the accident went down. You can see Nipsey Flow was being dug up in the marathon. And I said that he was murdered, and then I see blood in the store and blood in the back of the goddamn store. All of a sudden, they shut that store down, and I started saying that the people from LA started watching me and coming over here, listening to the goddamn page, dug it up and locked the door and locked the marathon down when nobody could go in that store no goddamn more. Now they get ready to open it back up. Black Sam open it back up. Neighborhood Nip Foundation. But I knew that's where the shit went on. Kidnapped that man in hell and tortured that man over there and they had him in there and then put that man outside like a day or two after that man had said a rigor mortis and was dead and shit. And you ain't see no blood and whole. If that was him, but they used the goddamn doppelganger up by their double because there's several niggas look like them by them. But he was physically murdered. They had this man standing by Nip Murray that looked just like him. Tall, slim, light skinned, that pretty hair braided back to the back. It was scary. It looked so much like him. And we know that's what went on. Now, she gotta be in this shit. Because there's no way, and I said it before, she's not a Coretta Scott's king, and she's definitely not a goddamn Betty Shabazz. Because you would still be talking shit and demanding justice and exposing the conspiracy and everything you know about this man murder. She ain't said nothing, but y'all feel sorry for me and woe is me, and I can't get over it, and I can't accept it, and I'm doing these clothes and shoes for LA love, and I'm representing virtue of your husband, then you couldn't prove it with your husband because you know that's a lie. Then it's your life partner, you couldn't prove that either because y'all weren't living together, and he wasn't committed to you, even though he was around you, see his son. And the fuck you, and y'all was fucking people together, and you fucking people, he fucking people, you know, he fucking Tanisha, she fucking people, he fucking people. I mean, it's all this crisscrossing of calm and shit. Couldn't have been committed to you. And now we know he wasn't. Guy had babies while he was so-called committed to her. So we know it's not what you said. Because he got several babies by other people that y'all are suppressing and hiding. They started contacting his sister when this happened to him and keeping the secrets and showing her the Instagram, showing the pictures of baby that looked just like Nipsey. Couldn't have been in love with you like he thought he was at first. When he would say, tell a little girl about how they be. You know, and all these people around, you know, and it's all coming out now what I said when people said I was lying and I was crazy. You can go look at my old videos where I put the name, I put T.I., Jada Pinkett, and Will Smith in the title. It was during the title where that cute boy that sang came out and said he was fucking her. She said she was in an entanglement with it. That's when I said it. And I said that 2 years ago. I said They finna set up. I said, Young Thug, you better watch it, because one of them snakes that like him came over here from his house, and the snake started telling me what's going on, like them dead bodies out there. That was before he got arrested, so nobody can say that I seen it on the news. I get time I go look at the news, and then I come up here and repeat it. And I said, how the fuck I repeat it when the shit ain't been in the news, and I say the shit and it ain't happened yet? Huh? It ain't happening in the third dimension. I seen it in the spirit. You go look at my Young Thug video, and you look at the data. I'm talking about them and T.I. and them, and it was 2 years ago. The date was before, months before Young Thug was arrested. Just like I couldn't keep on repeating. I kept telling y'all Hawaii, and that the elders that was black, the original ones that ruled Hawaii, and the original kings and queens were under the ground talking to me and showed me fire down there, and showed me volcanic eruptions over there in Hawaii and Australia. The elders, the firemen were down underground in Australia and in Hawaii. Now you see what the fuck going on in Hawaii? It's on fire, huh? As well, they don't have some volcanic eruptions over there. And volcanic eruption or earthquakes and both. You can go check my footwork, bitch. It's dripping. It's dripping AF. I'm thinking over here now. It's leaking. Just now you see it. Airplanes still coming out the sky. I'm really scared to see what I'm waiting to see about this other one that I'm seeing here with this red, white, blue plane here. Got red, got white, got blue in it. Maybe between 3 airlines here. I don't even want to talk about it. I done already said it. And when it happens, you go back and look. I mentioned Somalia, Sudan, Pakistan, Iran, Afghanistan. I told you it's conflict in all these countries, and the African countries over there, Ethiopia, Eritrea, and the corruption in Ethiopia, and the government part, and the killers over there. You see right now, for the past couple of months, Sudan and the U.S. slick, U.S. and French slick got something to do with this. They initiated shit. You see that all them black folks is over there in Sudan said they stanking over there and rotting on the ground because the coroner and the funeral house is overloaded over there. They cannot process and embalm all them bodies. That's how many dead people over there with the black general. And 2 generals are fighting each other. And one of them undercover is corrupt as hell around the country and all of the resources over there. I told y'all that before it happened, because you can go look at my videos with the date on, okay? Confirm that, true. Yeah, and like I said about Jamie's hiding and watching himself because he cannot tell anybody in the public, because who is going to protect him from all those powerful people? He done sold his soul and his booty and mouth hole, done did all this dirty, corrupt ass shit and covered these rich people's secrets while he participated in it for money, safety, and security, and all them sex parties and orgies for years they have done out there and make the people sign them NDAs. He done got one too, and this nigga scared as a motherfucker. Him. Now it's real similar in that movie Tyrone. He keeps telling me, movie Tyrone, I am not a clone. Yes you are. Yes you are. Even if you didn't go to the cloning bank, or this ain't your doppelganger that we see out here lighter with that long ass eye cream cone shaped ass head up there talking about you all right and thanks for the prayers and shit. You didn't want to say that shit. The nigga is hiding. And the nigga's real scared that he might have his days of his physical life might be numbered. And he know about other people being killed, like Prize Michelle had to take that deal. He was up there dealing with him and Leonardo DiCaprio. All that underhanded shit they did, and then Leonardo DiCaprio done already throw his ass up under the goddamn bus. It's stuff Jamie has